se va a encender un cigarro cuando mate.
National Power Play. Malboro.
Back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today we've got some news about Benioff and Vice, or D&D, or Dumb and Dumber, whatever it is you want to call them. The two guys that had one of the greatest shows in the world, which led to one of the worst endings to one of the greatest shows in the world. There are many different ways that you can describe it. Either way, I think most people can come to the agreement that Season 8 of Game of Thrones was one of the worst seasons of any television show, and that it didn't make any damn sense, and that Benioff and Weiss had a lot to do with that. But what's interesting is now we have reports, not only, of course, of the gigantic mega deal from Netflix offered to them, but also the possibility that Star Wars could be up in the air. At least their version of Star Wars could be up in the air. And it's based off of another report that we have about HBO apparently the project. But as you can see, this one from Back in the Comics report, HBO passed on Game of Thrones creators while Star Wars deal might be up in the air. It might be up in the air. Officially confirmed that it has been done away with. They're still very much on pace. Last time we heard that there's going to be a trilogy done by Benioff and Weiss, and that's going to go back to that Avatar for the upcoming December, starting, I want to say, next year, if not the year after, probably 2021. Because originally Avatar 2 was scheduled next year, and then we got, of course, behind and delayed because, craziness going on with the fact that James Cameron this is his passion project, and he's got all the CGI and everything. He wants everything to be perfect, and so seems like we still have a little bit of time. We've got at least 2 or 3 years before any Star Wars film would have to be made, which means that there's still plenty of time to find replacements if this is indeed the case. So let's actually read the article here from John F. Trent from Bounding in the Comics. It says, new reports suggest HBO passed on offering a deal to Game of Thrones creators Benioff and Weiss. I wonder why. I wonder why that could be the case. Couldn't be that they were so proud of the work that they did for Game of Thrones Season 8. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it, right? The report also suggests their Star Wars deal might be up in the air. This is, of course, coming from the Hollywood Reporter, so definitely not one of the sources that people might say, oh, that's not reliable. I would say, I wouldn't say Hollywood Reporter is a great source, but that's because I think it's biased, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the information, as far as data coming from it, is any less reliable than any other source. So, THR reports that Benioff and Weiss recently signed a mega deal with Netflix. The deal reportedly signs Benioff and Weiss for a 5-year, $250 million deal. Woo, $250 million. That is ridiculous. That is overpaid. That is overpriced. Look at what they did with their show. Look at what they did with Game of Thrones. Do you really want to put the people that ruined Game of Thrones, which was easily going to be one... Seriously, the ending to that show, I feel there are a plethora of directors and writers that could have done a good job with it. There are so many logical directions, so many logical conclusions that you could have done with that show that not only would have made fans happy, but at the very least would have made freaking sense. The reason why so many of us are still on this is because we love Game of Thrones. We thought it was a great show, but it wasn't just because we loved the show, it was because we loved the characters, because the characters all had motivations, they all had arcs, they all went through journeys, and what Season 8 did was say all of those arcs and all those journeys that you've spent years of your life and hours of your life investing in meant absolute garbage, meant absolute dog crap, and we don't care. We don't care. They don't care enough to the point where they will not show. They will no-show an event over at San Diego Comic-Con because they cannot face the fans. That is how cowardly Benioff and Weiss are, and that's the people that you want to offer this amount of money to, the people that couldn't even face the fans, that they knew were going to be upset, to the point where the fans themselves were going to other panels, or at least were present at other panels, talking about Game of Thrones because they were cowards. And also, let's not forget that this panel for Game of Thrones went to the point where they canceled. They said they ran out of time, but they canceled the Q&A section. I can only wonder why. But no, Netflix, go ahead. Waste that $250 million and see what happens. In their report, they note that HBO was unwilling to offer the bid to Benioff, the bid that Benioff and Weiss wanted. In fact, it points out that Warner Media, HBO's parent company, elected to go with J.J. Abrams as they are in final talks for a $500 million pact with J.J. Abrams, which is absolutely insane. Many people suspect that that means that they're going to be, that J.J. Abrams is going to be put in charge of the DCEU, or at least that could be potentially a part of his job for $500 million. I imagine that it's going to be something pretty damn big, but also it does show that HBO did not want to offer any money. $250 million, again, I think is way too much, but wouldn't even offer half for two people. for two people that had one of the greatest shows of all time, and yet many still ignore the fact that the Season 8 sucked and that they say, oh no, it was better than people think that it was. Okay, so then why is it that HBO will be unwilling to pay $250 million when they're willing to pay J.J. Abrams, who, sure, is a lot more popular than Benioff and Weiss are right now, but twice as much for one person? I don't know. I think that speaks volumes in my own personal opinion. So HBO and Warner Media was not the only company to pass on Benioff and Weiss. Universal TV president Perlina Igokwe, probably butchered that, told THR certain people command 9 figures and we've made those deals. Benioff and Weiss are not a deal that I went after, and you know what? I don't blame you. Why would you? They are now toxic. Now any show, especially a show, let alone a movie, that they're attached to, you're going to have Game of Thrones fans, which was in the multiple millions of people, that are going to look at them and say, oh, these are the people that strung us along for years, that strung us along for a lot of our lives, and just destroyed every character we ever liked, or at least most of the characters, and gave us complete dog crap because they were too busy counting their money from their Star Wars deal. Now, it's interesting to me that Star Wars apparently might not be in the discussion anymore, and that Netflix would be willing to offer them money, knowing the kind of people that Benioff and Weiss are. However, I can't make those decisions for them. Benioff and Weiss are supported to be part of a new HBO series called Confederate that would be similar to Amazon's Man in the High Council. The series would see the Civil War end in a stalemate and see slavery still be legal in the Confederacy. In fact, the show was expected to showcase the Third American Civil War in an alternate reality. HBO ended up pulling the show after it was opposed on social media, and also probably having to do with the fact that, I mean, again, I think they pulled it before this happened, but I imagine that even if it hadn't been pulled, it would have been because of the ending of Game of Thrones. Not only does THR report that HBO passed on Benioff and Weiss, but it also suggests that their Star Wars deal might be up in the air. THR reports sources say the Thrones pair is writing a treatment. Sources say the Thrones pair is writing a treatment for a Star Wars trilogy and is committed to penning at least one of the films. This isn't anything new. In fact, it echoes our reporting from May, which indicated the two Game of Thrones creators might only be attached to one film. Disney CEO Bob Iger spoke to Moffat-Nathanson Media and Communications, which is an interesting name, indicating Benioff and Weiss were only attached to one Star Wars film. He specifically stated, "We did a deal with Benioff and Weiss, who are famous for Game of Thrones, and the next movie that we release will be theirs, and we're not saying anything more about it." But last time I checked, it was a trilogy that they were given. Isn't it interesting that now it's one film, and now that one film might not all be the defense that going on to one. Benioff and Weiss seem to be losing power, and yet somehow, someway, Netflix, in their wisdom, after losing billions of dollars and many subscribers because of their idiocy, went out of the way to handle and take on Dumb and Dumber. Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what? That makes perfect sense. Netflix, thank you for just showing us that you have no idea what you're doing, as you will continue to lose content as more and more of these companies create their own streaming services, and you instead will decide to waste $250 million on two people that cannot even finish the damn show. That is a freaking slam dunk. They are a group of fans. I would pick any 5 hardcore fans that could probably write a better ending to Game of Thrones Season 8, the entire season, let alone the final episode, than what they did with that show. Seriously, I honestly mean that. That's not hyperbolic. I truly mean that. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy also told EW in April, as they finish Game of Thrones, they're going to segue into Star Wars. They're working very closely with Rian Johnson. Star Wars had originally announced that Benioff and Weiss would write and produce a new series of Star Wars films. They specifically noted that these new films would be separate from both the episodic ones and also the ones being developed by Rian Johnson, which in my mind are still very much up in the air. Now, apparently, Rian Johnson mentioned his trilogy in a new interview because, of course, he's talking about Knives Out, trying to promote that film, which I'm sure is going to be a huge box office success, even though, of course, it's going to be an independent film, so I'm not expecting it to make money in the first place. But something tells me that any people that were pissed off by The Last Jedi will probably say, yeah, you know what, I'm definitely going to be skipping your film. But I do think it's interesting, nonetheless, that we now have a place where we have Rian Johnson, who very well could no longer have a Star Wars trilogy. We now have a group of people, two people, Benioff and Weiss, who originally had a series of films. Originally, it was told to us a trilogy that now they are saying, now they are balking on and saying, oh, no, it's just one film. While at the same time, they're signing a $250 million deal with Netflix to create a wide variety of content. Isn't that interesting? Do you honestly think that Benioff and Weiss are going to make this Star Wars film, especially since it was 3 and now it's 1 and now they signed this deal? Or do you think that we might find something different? I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Do you think that Benioff and Weiss are going to write and direct their own Star Wars film? Do you think that Netflix is idiotic for signing them on, especially for that much money. And also, the most fun game on the internet, do you think that Rian Johnson's trilogy is actually canceled? He's still talking about it. He's still acting like it's going on. Based on just logic and reason, I just don't see how you could justify him having it. Oh, but it made $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion. Yes, but it then also broke the fandom and led to Star Wars, Solo Star Wars story losing $200 million. The only Star Wars ever.
A lot of summoners, he returned gangs.
I would love to know your thoughts on this. All the things that we talked about in the comments below. Like this video, smash that like button, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. Centered story. Yeah, absolutely. But the fact that they're gonna try and put this on the Disney Plus service instead of making this a movie, when you've already had films like freaking Solo: A Star Wars Story that no one in their right minds wanted and didn't go see, and again led to that film losing money. Why in the hell would you take a property that a lot of people have been asking for a long time? Actual fans, hardcore fans that would go out day one, night one to go see this film just to see Ewan McGregor play the role again. Why is it that you're now going to put it behind a paywall on Disney Plus? Oh wait, that's right, because they are pretty much aware of the fact that their Disney Plus streaming service on opening day does not really have a whole lot to be excited for. There's still a lot of limitations as to what they can have. They've made recent dealings, I believe Comcast was the most recent one, where now they've earned Comcast or Spectrum, where now they have access to other criteria or other films that they can put onto their collecting services. But opening day, you don't have a whole lot of movies in comparison to the wide variety of movies and wide library that they should have access to, seeing they have obviously their own Disney films, they have the entire Fox franchise, they've got Marvel, they've got Star Wars, but there are certain films, there are certain franchises that they can't touch for a little bit because of their deals with Netflix and also with other broadcast stations. So all you have now is this, and again, for any of that Star Wars fans that are out there, now you have this, and it's like, okay, now we're going to try and entice you by finally giving you what you've been asking for years. Ever since Ewan McGregor was cast as this role and showed us how great he was in this role, and ever since even Revenge of the Sith came out back in, 2005, people have been clamoring, saying, man, I would love to see this guy's story continued on the big screen. Well, you might get it, but it will happen on a smaller screen, and you'll have to pay for Disney Plus to get it. So let's go ahead and dive into this. A new rumor indicates this, according to Cinelinx. So again, take this with a grain of salt. I've never heard of Cinelinx. However, I do trust Bounding in the comics, and I love that Bounding in the comics always makes it very clear when something is a rumor versus when something is a news story. So according to Cinelinx, according to two separate sources, they have heard that Ewan McGregor is favored into contract's return as the iconic Jedi Master. Now, to me, this would make a lot of sense. Why would it make a lot of sense? Because Disney knows, Bob Iger knows at this point in time that the Disney brand isn't all that it used to be. It isn't all hot and bothered. Now, some people can try and say, oh, we'll tell that to the billion-dollar films that they have this year. Tell that to all the movies that are going to support it. When I say that, what I mean are hardcore fans. I would say that there's a crap ton of hardcore Marvel fans that are starting to get tired of the same type of film, the same type of filmmaking process. You already see it with Star Wars. If you're going to try and argue that Star Wars fandom, that hardcore Star Wars fans are open arms with Disney in the directions they're going with the characters, I honestly think that there might be something, damaged about you. But with that being said, they've already done so much damage to the Star Wars universe, to the Star Wars lore, that they need something like this. They need to say, boom, you wanted it, now you have
이거
it.
이렇게 되면
Now you're gonna have
선곡받은
some people that are gonna say, hey, too
그거는
little, too late.
골드실버들한테나 있는
All right, we
거고요.
wanted this a long time ago.
그래, 여기
Instead, you
없어?
didn't listen to us.
그래.
Instead, you decided to go in your own direction, making your own new characters, and telling some really crappy stories and giving them terrible character arcs. And you're still going to continue their story in some capacity or the other. And you're continuing to make these stupid mistakes, all for the sake of identity politics and so-called equality, which is really just forced equality, which isn't equality at all. Because if you're being forced to do something based on some so-called standard, I don't really understand how that should be something that we should be applauding in the first place. But am I excited for this? You're damn right. I would love to see Ewan McGregor come back as this role. I know that my girls behind me, River and Willow, are also excited for this also. So along with their report that McGregor has signed to return as Obi-Wan Kenobi, they speculate that an announcement about the series could be made at the upcoming D23 show and convention, and that also makes a lot of sense because they need to have something big. They have already got Episode 9, which, yeah, everyone was excited for it when the trailer first came out, but since then, have people really been talking about it all that much, other than, of course, talking heads like me, who are trying to talk about the news and are trying to, kind of decipher between the crap and what could be good, what could be bad, and whether or not we should support these people in the first place, since they've already betrayed us in so many ways, and they're not going to learn their lesson, they're not going to actually change until they go bankrupt or until at least a franchise stops making money. I mean, again, I'm right there with you. No Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show was rumored to be in development back in May, but details regarding the show were sparse before the rumor about the Disney Plus show began swirling there. There have been rumors that an Obi-Wan Kenobi film was in development, however, Ewan McGregor had denied any involvement in a possible film. Back in January 2018, Ewan McGregor stated just that there's a lot of talk, and I'd be happy to play Obi-Wan again, but there's no plan at the moment. So it looks like they changed
Bonnie
their minds,
Crosby says
probably
she
because they
respects
said,
your
you know
money.
what,
An
we're looking back at those Solo
experienced
Star Wars
would
the
not
stories and
treat
numbers. We're looking at the fact that
expense
hey,
account like his
sorry, my girl's
personal
very excited
checking
about this
account.
news.
But her
We're looking at
actions
the
tell a
fact that Star Wars
different
Episode
story.
9 doesn't
As
really
mayor
have
of
a whole
Mississauga,
lot
she
of,
billed
hype
taxpayers for her
around
luxury
it.
cars,
That's
personal
at least a
expenses,
positive
carbon
type of
offsets, and
around
Amazon
it. You have a lot of
Prime.
people like
Her
me
first
talking about
action as head of the
taxation.
Ontario
People
Liberal
like me
Party was to
talking about,
increase
hey,
her salary
who's
by
not
raising $1
going to see
million
it? And
from
based
wealthy
on my own
donors.
community,
More
there's
for
a lot
her,
of people that
less
are
for you.
not going to support
A
them
message from the
anymore.
Ontario
So they thought to
PC Party.
themselves probably, oh, we need to try and get some of those people back. And some people might be brought back by this. Some people might say, hey, this is a good direction. This is the direction that we wanted to go in. However, I think that we should definitely be overly cautious when it comes to this. Not only because it's a rumor, but also because if it is indeed true and they're trying to bring us back, all we need to remind ourselves is, yeah, remember when they said Star Wars is coming back? We got The Force Awakens. Many of us were happy with it. Let's just be honest. Many people were happy with it. Many Star Wars fans were happy with it. They said, oh, it's a New Hope rehash, but you know what? At least it's Star Wars again. We can finally start to go into these universes. Then, of course, we got The Last Jedi. And then, of course, with the news I talked about just the other day about how the plan from the very beginning was to try and kill off the past, try and take away all of the original characters, probably because of some deals with George Lucas, but if not that, because they wanted to push new and diverse characters over actual well-written characters. I think that this just makes a lot of sense. This just feeds into everything going on. You have already one of their newer projects, Star Wars Resistance, being declared bunk. They've canceled that series because no one wanted to watch it because guess what? It's new Star Wars, and new Star Wars really isn't that profitable when you really come to think about it. Sure, you can look at the $2 billion for the first film. Sure, you can say $1.3 billion for The Last Jedi. But the reaction from The Last Jedi, the toy sales since The Last Jedi, the actual random numbers that we're looking at tell a much different story. The fact that Solo lost $200 million in the wake of the $1.3 billion film of The Last Jedi, and also the fact that in China alone, they have been rejecting it openly. And you kind of need China to have that kind of film for the most part. Something tells me that they know and they recognize that they need to have they need to add fuel to the fire. They need a new spark. Maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe having Ewan McGregor come back could be enough, not only to drive subscription sales to their service, which they still need to do a lot more if they're really going to try and sell it the way they want to, which they have the potential to within the next 5 years when certain rights on certain properties are no longer there. But they also really need to start listening to the fans. And one of the ways that they can do that, if you really want to get fans back, hard fans back, if you want to get people like me, people like Jeremy, people like so many others who love Star Wars, and we love Star Wars, we love the worlds of Star Wars, we love the EU, we love the Clone Wars, we love Rebels, some people less so.
My name's Eric Nordland. I'm the head of sales development at Canadian, the operator of Happiness Main Airports.
Disney run, but I think, of course, gave more credit to Dave
I was
Filoni,
responsible
who
for
actually
the
worked
digital
under George
solution
Lucas
here.
and actually had a creative experience because of that. But until we start to see a
we had an
major
architect
shift.
competition
The only
back in
major shift that I can
2017
possibly
for
see
this
is having
space,
Kathleen
and the
Kennedy
architects,
taken
they already
out
do
of
a big
Apple's
curved
presence.
display on
And
the
she could
edges
not be
of
in
this
charge of the
triangular
controls.
space.
No idea what
Obviously,
else
the idea of
using
this
$200
whole space being to
alone
impress people who
more than
arrive
enough
here
to do
in
that.
Finland
Until
made
we
for
start
the
to
first
see
time.
changes like that,
The curves of
this
the
just
display were
becomes
originally
fate.
drawn out by
This
the
just
architects
becomes a way of them
without
dangling
knowing any
the,
of the limitations of
wait,
LED displays, so it was
yo,
actually
wait a
fairly
minute, you're
difficult
gonna leave?
technically.
Oh, but don't forget,
And
we can
Samsung
do
was
this.
willing to walk the
Nothing's
extra
gonna be long
mile
before they say,
to make
"Oh
this
my gosh,
implementation
yes, we'll
possible.
do that ruined Game of Thrones are doing. Screw whatever Rian Johnson is still doing in his own little world. How about instead you find an awesome director and put them in charge of this, because this would be a film that you could easily get easily get people behind. Not the crap that these idiots are behind. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Are you excited for Ewan McGregor to return? Do you think this is true? And also, do you think that this would be enough to bring you or others a in-canon reboot like the 2009 movie and introduce the new characters? Ryan's job was to kill off the originals, and then you were supposed to not notice it was rebooted. Each was given the outline to make it
League
and
of
what the
Legends
points were.
highlights.
So now you know why. Disney did not want to pay a license fee, and by the end of it all, it looked different and has new copyright under the old name. They even changed the Falcon to be different, but the orders were in the end to leave nothing original. Now this also goes in line with a recent source from Doomcock about how they have kept away original characters from the new parks and from a lot of the movies and been trying to kill them off because they don't want to have to pay royalties to
comes out.
I don't know.
They get into the circle as King and
Right, now it's been a long day at school, but George Lucas, why they don't want to pay George Lucas for a variety of different reasons, and I think that this is actually interesting. And to me, out of all these things, you know what? I always try and point out one thing that to me makes the most sense. To me, it's the Falcon. To me, why is it that something so small, like changing the dish on the Falcon, would happen? Why would you make that type of a difference? Well, if it's enough of a difference to be able to change the copyright, well then at that point in time, no longer is that something that George Lucas owns, no longer is that something that anyone else has the rights to. Now it is purely a Disney product, and it makes a lot of sense that you have J.J. Abrams being set up, hey, here's the new characters, here's some backstories, and I would say that for a lot of those characters, I had some genuine interest in them. Though, of course, Rian Johnson being brought in with his job being to destroy the old characters, to do away with them and to make way for the new characters, which I honestly think probably midway through shooting they said, maybe this isn't the direction that we should be going, and maybe this isn't going to work out so well because people aren't really going crazy over these new characters all that much. And of course, we got the The Last Jedi, which was just a complete jumble mess. The source added this. There is this just quick. There was always one plan. After the reaction to The Last Jedi, the decision was made to bring in JJ to fix the plan he laid out, and they threw Ryan under the bus. That is why they said Ryan might get his own trilogy. They just didn't expect the backlash to be as toxic as it was, and consequently solo flop. And I think that's an excellent point. I think that they did not really expect people to be that angry with The Last Jedi to the point where the fandom has pretty much been split over it. What the actual data is based on people who actually saw it, I don't know. But notice that fandom is not the same thing as people who saw it. There are a lot of people that went to go see Marvel movies. There's a lot of people that go to see Star Wars films that aren't necessarily Star Wars fans, that aren't necessarily considering themselves as a part of a particular fandom. And I think that it's a lot more accurate to say that Star Wars fandom is split very much so over The Last Jedi than to say that overall fans are, or rather, correction, overall audiences are. Because we can easily go to general normal audiences who will say, oh no, it's fine. But these are people that aren't invested. These are people that couldn't care less about canon. These are people that couldn't care less about whether or not the story makes any sense. These are the same people that will go out and say, oh no, the new Lion King was great, even bring back Ryan to fix the mess, seeing that he did a decent job copying A New Hope in the first film, and maybe they expect him to do something again here. Rian Johnson previously indicated there was no set plan for Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy. Johnson spoke to Deadline that that's what's really cool about the storytelling process. There is definitely the idea that we know it is a 3-movie arc. We know the first film is an introduction, then the middle act is training, meaning challenging the characters. Really, if it's all about training, well then it looks like Rey still needs to get that training. We you didn't do your
Gary's
job
on the
very
bottom
well.
side of the
The
map,
third
though,
is where they all come
disengage is
together and
good.
you have to
From
resolve
Namjoon,
everything. But I was
True Shot
truly
Barrage
able
gets all
to
of the
write this
value
script
in the
without
universe.
bases to
He
tag
can't
and
use his
without a
mist.
big
Yeah,
outline
in
on
the
the wall.
meantime,
That meant I
Gary's
could
here.
react to
Look
what
at
I
that.
felt from
That's
The Force
Nexus turrets.
Awakens
He's
and what I
smacking
wanted
them
to
down.
see.
He's doing
I
so
could make
much
this movie
damage
personal. Exactly. You
alongside
could
these
ignore
minions. There's
everything,
another
all the
showstopper.
softballs that
Gary
J.J.
should be able to
Abrams
find
set
a
up
face
for you
breakup.
and then
Yeah,
just
there
say,
it is.
"Boop,
Max range.
screw
Haymaker's
you,
not
I am
going
going
to
to
land
make my
because Joji
own
runs
film,
a
my
little
own
bit too quickly,
personal
but this
film,
is
because
Nexus turret
Kathleen
number
Kennedy
2.
has no idea what the
And
hell
Gary
she's
with
doing
this
and said, yeah,
massive
go ahead and do
damage
whatever you
build
want.
that's
And
still
now you've got
very
a trilogy
tanky.
that's
He's
so
doing so
disjointed,
much.
so
We all have
discombobulated
things
that
we
no
worry
one in their
about.
right mind could say
But when we
it's
know
a
trouble is
coherent
headed our way,
overall story.
we need a
Even
fighter.
if JJ is able to bring back
Someone
some
who
of the
protects
plans,
us,
even if
our
JJ is
jobs,
able to
and
somewhat
our
redeem
families.
certain characters,
That's
it's
Premier
never going to
Doug
be seen in
Ford.
the eyes of most
When Ottawa
people,
descended
especially
into
fans,
chaos,
as
he
a
stood up for
coherent
us.
trilogy,
Now taking
let
Trump
alone
on
a
tonight,
coherent
Ontario
end
Premier Doug
to a
Ford.
The next 4
nine-movie
years
arc
won't be
that
easy.
could be
There's
and should
big
be one of the
decisions
greatest
ahead,
nine-movie
and there's
arcs of all
only
time,
one
but
leader
most
to
especially
protect
because it was
Ontario.
acted by
That's
Disney,
Premier Doug
is one of
Ford.
the biggest mistakes of all time as well. We have
Much
more
work
quotes
and
here.
the
An interview with
Nexus goes
Fast
down.
Company in
Namjoon
April, J.J.
just
Abrams also
cruised
added
their way
into
to a win.
a lack of structure.
Very,
But without
very
getting
clean
into the weeds
play.
on episode 8, that was a story that Ryan wrote and was telling based on 7 before we met. So he was taking the thing in another direction. So we also had to respond to episode 8. So our movie was not just following what we had started, it was following what we had started and then had been advanced by someone else who did not check in to see and make sure that everything was going to fall in line with where the story was going to progress, because Kathleen Kennedy gave Ryan Johnson way too much freedom, and this is the reason why I say this constantly. Kathleen Kennedy, she might be doing fine as a producer as far as getting the money for the movies and getting the movies actually produced, but as a creative head, she is an imbecile. She has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea how to run a company, or rather how to run a franchise, because of the very fact that she brought in two different people with two different ideas,
Bonnie
and now
Crombie
JJ
raised
has been
taxes
brought in
and
to
fees
clean up the
every
mess,
year.
and even
She's
he
fought
admits
against
that Ryan
PC
Johnson's
tax cuts,
direction
rebates,
ruined
and
the
reductions.
overall arc to
Now
the point
she's
where
admitting
they
the
now
job's
have to
tough
fix
and that she thought
They
it
now
would
have
be
to
easier.
fix the
Protect
mistakes
Ontario.
of Ryan
Vote
Johnson.
PC.
This is how just
Authorized by the
crazy and
CFO
how
for the
messed up
Ontario
Star Wars
PC
is right
Party.
now. You've got J.J. Abrams coming in, who many people are not fans of, by the way, who now has to fix the problems for Ryan Johnson that many more people would dislike than J.J. Abrams, and you have this giant mess. While there are some threads of larger ideas and some big picture things that have been conceived decades ago, and lots of ideas that Lawrence Kasdan and I had when we were doing episode 7, the lack of absolute inevitability and the lack of complete structure for this thing, given the way it was being run, was an enormous challenge. So that is a very polite way of saying, because there was no structure to what Ryan Johnson decided to do with his movie, because Ryan Johnson did not make a movie to be the second film in a trilogy, but instead made his movie to be something of his own making that he said, it's a Ryan Johnson movie, and I'm Ryan Johnson.
Dá o
It's a Ryan
show pra
Johnson
toda a
movie,
torcida
and
que tá sempre
it can
acompanhando
stand
a
on its
gente.
own,
Quando eu
and then
entrei
just
pela
give a
primeira
giant
vez
middle
aqui,
finger to the first film that came before, and any
foi a
film
primeira
that
vez
could
que eu
come
vim.
after it. So what do y'all's guys thoughts about this? Again, there are more quotes here from this
não tive
article,
nem
which
palavras
I
pra
highly
dizer,
recommend, but I really do
só
think that this
paralisei,
source
assim,
close to
lugar enorme,
Gary
vai
over at
tal.
Nerdrotic
We
is
all
on
have
something.
things
It
we
sounds
worry
to
about.
me, and it
But
seems to
when we
me
know
that they
trouble
were
is
trying
headed
to
our
redo
way,
the
we
franchise,
need a
but
fighter.
Ryan Johnson
The
is
next
the one
4
that
years
mucked it
won't
up.
be easy.
Ryan
There's
Johnson
big
was the one that
decisions
was
ahead,
supposed to
and
take
there's
what
only
JJ had
one
set
leader
up
to
and
protect
follow a
Ontario.
plan,
That's
but
Premier
Kathleen
Doug
Kennedy gave
Ford.
him way too much creative freedom, like too many of the creative choices that he made, and in the process, even though they had a film that they individually liked, when you put it into the context of episode 7, and especially in a future episode 9, it didn't make any damn sense. I would love to hear all of y'all's thoughts about this. Do you think that there's any truth to this rumor? Do you think that Ryan Johnson is the one that mucked it up? Or do you, like me, think that the ultimate responsibility and the one that is solely responsible, or at the very least, mostly responsible for Star Wars being in the state that it is currently, is no one else other than Kathleen Kennedy, who needs to lose her job? I mean, this state of the trilogy alone shows us clearly that she has no creative drive, she has no creative direction, she has no idea what she's doing. This is a trilogy that does not make sense within its own borders, within its own context, and it's going to lead to so many people acting as if this trilogy never existed, maybe pointing out certain parts of certain films, but this to me is the most discombobulated, most disjointed trilogy in modern movie
Pode ser
history.
que
I love your
amanhã
thoughts
seja o
about
dia
this and
mais
all the things we
feliz da
talked
minha
about in the
vida,
comments below. Also,
caso
guys, if
a
you like
gente
this video,
vencer.
smash that like button, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe.
E
You know that YouTube is just gonna
Tem nem
treat this
palavras
video like
pra dizer que
actual
jogar
absolute
aqui
trash.
num lugar
You
que
want to
já
support me
aconteceu
over on
muita
Bitch, you can
coisa
support me over
de
there,
esporte e tudo mais. E eu nunca esperava
where also every video I
acontecesse na minha
upload
vida.
here goes
Eu
up. You can also
sempre
check me
jogo
out on
tranquilamente,
hideout.tv, where if
porque
you
eu
don't mind
sempre
watching
gosto de
some ads,
passar
it
isso
does,
também
of
para meus
course, help the channel,
companheiros.
because
Eu
YouTube
sempre
sometimes monetizes,
tento manter
sometimes demonetizes, But
maior
every
calma
video
do
up on
mundo.
Hideout.tv is
Eu dormi
monetized, so you do have to watch
tranquilamente
ads, but hey, it's
hoje.
one way of subsidizing for the
E
channel.
eu tô
Or you
preparado
can go
pra
through
jogar
my
essa
affiliate
final
links
e sair daqui
below,
campeão.
Display I talk about all the time, and the Amazon affiliate link if you ever want to purchase something. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.
Hello guys, welcome back to Cookie Mondays. Today we will be
Hello,
making
everybody, and
homemade
welcome back to
Samoa's
Odin's
cookies.
movie blog. I'm
And
Dakota
Kawaii
Foods.
Sweet World also
Hope you're
joined
well.
me on
And
making Girl
today
Scout
we're
cookies. She
talking
made
about
Thin
this
Mints, so
rumor
don't
that
forget to
I have
head
been
over there at the
told a
end
lot
of this
about
video. Let's
in my
begin.
live
4
chats and
steps.
also by
Make the
other
cookies,
fellow
bake the
YouTubers,
coconut, melt the
and I
caramel,
just
coat the
myself am
cookies.
finally
So in a
covering it
large
today
bowl, add
because
1
I
cup of
finally
butter,
found the article over
half a
on
cup of
Time
sugar,
Comics,
and if
there
you
was
don't have a
rumor going
handheld
around
mixer,
that
feel
apparently
free to
Disney
use the
is
fork like
killing
what I
off
did.
original characters
And once you're finished
because
mixing,
survey
you're going to
says
grab 2
George
cups
Lucas
of all-purpose
gets
flour,
royalties from those characters,
half a
and so
teaspoon of
therefore they
baking
are trying
powder,
to cut back on what he
half a
gets. Now, whether or
teaspoon of
not this
vanilla
is true or
extract,
not,
1
it's hard to say. The
tablespoon
fact
of milk.
that they've already
Then
pretty
grab
much
your
been
fork
able
and
to
continue
say
mixing until
that George
everything
Lucas
is well
has said that he's
combined.
been on set for episode 9 was a
I ended up
rumor
using
about
my
what had
hand to
happened,
finish
and
mixing,
that
but
he
you
was
can use a
apparently
wooden spoon.
available in some
I took some
capacity.
parchment
Whether or not
paper and
that's true or
placed it
not,
on
I
the
don't have
table,
information
and then
for.
took another
But
one and
also we
placed
know
it on
that George
top
Lucas
of the
has
cookie
at
dough.
least been
And then I just
very,
rolled it out
you know,
because
very
I found that it
loosely
was
tied
easier
in
to roll
with
it out with
appearing at
parchment
various
paper
other events,
rather
for
than
example,
flouring the
him
surface.
apparently
So
being
once
on
I
the set
finished
of
out
the Game
rolling the
of Thrones
cookies, I
final
took off the
season
parchment paper
with
and
2
took
guys that
my
are going to
round
be
cookie
taking
dough
over Star
cutter
Wars in the near
and
future.
cut the cookies.
Obviously,
Then
George
I
Lucas
took
is
my
still very
1M
much attached to
icing
the Star
tip
Wars universe,
and
though
I
he may
just
not be
placed
attached
it in
a
the middle
more
and
direct
made holes.
capacity.
If you don't have that,
It's
you can use
interesting to me,
any
though,
other
that
item
this
that you
rumor's
may have
flying around
available.
because
Next, I
it would
removed
make a lot of
the
sense
extra
as to
dough that I
why
didn't
they are
need
deciding
to put the
destroy
cookie
specifically
onto the
original
baking mat.
characters over the newer characters that they're establishing that really
I
aren't
baked the
catching
cookies at
much
300
steam.
degrees
I don't
Fahrenheit
really
for 9 to
care
11
what people
minutes.
have to say when it comes
So I
to,
allowed the
oh my
cookies to
gosh,
bake
Rey
for
is an
about 2
amazing
minutes on the
character, when
pan,
fact
and
is
then
more
I took
people
1
are
bag of
likely to
sweetened
dress
coconut,
as Leia
placed it
or
on
Luke
another
than they
cookie
are
sheet,
as
and I
Leia,
spread
or
it
rather
out,
as
baked it
Rey
at 350
or Finn.
degrees
I was
Fahrenheit
at
for
the
10
recent Star
minutes.
Wars
If you keep it
celebration,
in any
and while
longer,
there were
it will
definitely
burn.
Rey's
I took
presence
1 bag
there,
of caramel
I barely saw
and
any
1 teaspoon of
Finns.
milk. I
saw
microwaved
maybe a
it for
few
about
Poe
15 to
Damerons,
20
but for the vast
seconds.
majority, I
And then once
saw
the coconut was
Leia,
finished
and
baking,
specifically
I added
Princess
it to
Leia's
the
slave
melted
Leia,
caramel.
interestingly
And I
enough,
just mixed
because
everything
it's
in until
obviously
everything
a
was well
favorite of
combined.
many cosplayers. But I think that does
Then
definitely
I took
indicate
my
that there's a
cookie
lot more
and I
passion when it comes
placed
to those
the
older
caramel
characters
coconut
than there
on
are to
top.
the newer ones,
It may
which is
take some
why
time to
I
put the
highly
coconut
doubt that they're
caramel
gonna
on
do
top of the
another
cookie, but
trilogy
it's
or
well
another
worth the
series
wait.
dealing with these actors,
I
dealing
melted
with
some
Daisy Ridley,
chocolate
dealing with her
and I
character,
took a spoon
because
and just
it's not going to be
spread
enough.
it
Isn't
around
it
because
interesting
the couple
that the
sweet told
same
me to dip
people
it
that have
in.
gone after
And then
traditional
once I
fans, that have
finished
gone
spreading it
after
all
fans
around,
of the
I
original
placed it
trilogy,
onto
that have gone
parchment
after
paper,
fans of just
put
good
some chocolate in a
storytelling, which
Ziploc,
is what the
and
original
drizzled it
trilogy
over the
has,
cookies,
are
like so.
also the same people
Thanks
that are
to
a
everyone
part
who
of
requested to make these
creating
Girl Scout
characters
cookies.
that
Let
people
me know in the
don't care
comment
about
what
to the
you
point
want to see
where
on the
they
next
are
Cookie
already
Monday.
planning
And don't forget
and
to head
making it
over to
clear, at least
Kawaii
from
Sweet
what
World,
Daisy Ridley
where
has
she
said in
shows you how to
interviews and
make
what other
thin
people have
mints.
said, that their story is
Invest
going to
online
be
with
done,
RDC,
including
and you can get up
these
to
newer
500,000
characters, that they
Avion
are
points.
not going to get their own story. I'm gonna go ahead and copyright strike them. Why do you think my thumbnails always look terrible? And I've been told constantly, hey, you don't have to do that. They're not gonna go after you for it. Okay. Well, then why is it that they're going after a video that they had no grounds for, which, as they said, our team has reviewed? If your team is made up of human persons, it means that they watched the video and that they said this violates our content, this violates our terms of service. And then you said, we think it violates. That is stupid. Do you realize how stupid this makes you sound? Do you realize how stupid this entire process has become? That you will limit people's content, that you will limit people's voices, all because you don't like it, you think it violates the terms of service. Oh man, and it says right there, we want it to be a safe space for all, a safe place for all people. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we've made a mistake, if you think we've already reviewed it, and we think it violates it, but if you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal and we'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. So.
You got something on there.
Okay. So we make a big rundown of the
As mayor of Mississauga, Bonnie Crombie raised taxes and fees every year. Her last act as mayor, introducing one final tax hike. Since taking over the Ontario Liberal Party, she's fought against PC tax cuts, rebates, and reductions. Now, with the threat of tariffs and a trade war, she's admitting the job's tough and that she thought it would be easier. The stakes have never been higher for you and your family. Protect Ontario. Vote PC. A message from the Ontario PC Party.
Sitting. You over here at the management room. We recently also got height adjustable desks.
What kind of fish is it?
I know all of you are playing in movement while you're standing.
I touched it.
It's a perch.
Here's a small meeting box, so whenever you need a bit privacy. It also has AC, so don't worry.
Let's go. You want to rig up the same way you did?
Yeah. This room is for Max only. This room is for MEC. We have a brand new feature.
We're doing a little off-roading here to get to our fishing spot.
Walking in my jungle. What is my jungle? Hey, what are you doing? Come touch Fred. Yeah, I do actually.
And next up.
We all have things we worry about. But when we know trouble is headed our way, we need a fighter. Someone who protects us, our jobs, our families. That's Premier Doug Ford. When Ottawa descended into chaos, he stood up for us.
Got one on.
Now taking Trump on tonight, Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
The next 4 years won't be easy. There's big decisions ahead, and there's only one leader to protect Ontario. That's Premier Doug Ford.
Oh.
You have to move for...
Was that pretty fun, Zoe?
Hey, this one was...
What kind of fish did you think was on there?
This one was won by the Veteran players. Okay, feel free to drop your stuff, and then I'll say, let's have some break here.
Let's do the work.
That's the big one of the night so far. That is nice to hear.
kind of fish is that, Nolan? Okay, Elliot, what kind of fish are you gonna catch? Yeah, just really. Oh, throw them in the bucket, I guess.
I'm going to catch a fishy.
A fishy? Okay, start reeling it in a little bit, okay? He got caught in the weeds.
Hey, this.
Just a minute, Elliot. I'll help you in a minute.
Dad, is that a
I think it's a bass.
Oh, nice bass, Hannah.
Oh, my.
Hannah, nice. Okay, reel it in.
Oh, my. That is huge. Oh, my God. I'm not touching it.
That's bigger than Nolan's.
I think so.
Just put it in the bucket.
What do you think, Nolan? Hold that up by Hannah so we can get a picture of her with her fish. I'm not sure. Oops. You can recatch it now.
After it stops bubbling, take it out. Right?
What are you guys doing?
Catching tackles to feed fish. Yep. Today we're cooking an elk steak. This is a bull I shot last Monday, and now it's Sunday. Today we're going to season it with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, thyme that I pre-mixed up, and we're going to sprinkle it over this elk roast here. So we're going to smoke this on our smoker grill for it's up to 130 degrees internal. So this is probably a couple pound roast maybe. Alright, we're going to let it sit there until the smoker is up to temperature, and then we'll let it smoke for a while. Alright, it's pretty well preheated up now. I'm going to turn this to 275. We're going to put it on the grate in the middle. Woo. Alright, I'm going to put the temperature probe in that, and we'll let her smoke for until it's up to 130 internal, and then we'll bring it out. We're going to heat this puppy up, cast iron skillet, and we're going to put a little bit of butter in here. About precisely that amount. Clear action here. That off the heat. Now we're going to wrap this in foil and let it sit for 10 minutes in the microwave. Alright, that's been resting for 10 minutes. I'm going to cut her open. Alright, let's taste some of this. See how it is. Now that's how you cook an elk roast right there. Alright, I'm gonna let you try it. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
That's good. Divine.
Divine?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
Taste.
You know what that is? What is that?
That's elk steak. Food.
Elk
It's
roast.
steak. Elk roast.
Okay, here.
Whatever. It's food.
Pretty good, huh?
Gotcha.
What do you want, Elliot?
Food.
You want another piece of elk?
Sure.
Okay, here goes.
I already did. And good stuff.
It's in your mouth. I suppose Carson wants another piece too. There you go.
Yay.
I think we're gonna have to sit down and eat this. Alright, we are going back up to Yellowstone today. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and it rained like crazy last night. We had thunderstorms. It was really shaking the camper, but we survived. And we're going to go up to the park today. We're going to do a little bit on the North Loop, maybe the Grand Canyon. We'll see. Alright. There's some buffalo, high altitude buffalo here. We just got over Sylvan Pass. Oh, you wanted a picture of the buffalo? Buffalo are like, oh, look at those stupid birds. Okay, we're in Hayden Valley now. We've seen our first herd of cows and calves. Buffaloes. Oh, look at that little calf there. He's cute. Alright, Nolan and I are going to walk on the South Rim Trail over to Uncle Tom's Trail, and we just stopped at Artist Point and took some pictures and short video clips. It was pretty cool. So, it's about a mile hike here, but looks like the trail's pretty nice. Still on the South Rim Trail. We've been running and walking. There's quite a bit of snow on it. It's a little slick. You don't want to slip and fall because you'll end up down there, which is almost assuredly your death. Here comes Nolan. We're going down, down, down Switchback Trail. Getting closer to the waterfall now. Well, we've made it to Uncle Tom's Trail. But unfortunately, it's closed, which is a bummer. We just got all the way down the South Fork Trail and we found out it's all closed. Just saw a hare running down this hill right here. It's real pretty. Starting to go from white to summer coat. Right in those trees right there. There's a snowshoe hare back here. There it goes. Right there. See it, Hannah? It's getting its summer coat on. Okay, now we're overlooking the upper falls. There's the bridge that goes across. And this leads down to the lower falls. Okay, now we are hiking down to the brink of the lower falls. It's a switchback trail. It's not very far. Upper falls is right up there. You can't see it. And the brink of the lower falls is down here. And the sun is out. waterfalls from Lookout Point. And the fall is 308 feet? 308 feet. Right down there is Red Rock Overlook. Unfortunately, that trail's closed today too. There's a lot of snow on it. So now we're looking down at Artist Point, where we were first. As you can see, there's a lot more people there now. We were there about 8 o'clock in the morning, and now it's about 9 o'clock. So parts of this canyon are 1,200 feet deep, and it gets deeper all the time. So this video footage right now is probably the deepest that's ever been photographed or videoed in the entire life of the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, it's right above that tree there. Okay. That's nice, bro. You can see it in the marking on the side.
See it straight out there, Elliot?
So this is Norris Geyser Basin. If you guys want to know what it smells like, start burning a whole box of matches, and that's kind of the sulfury smell that you get from this. It's like a steam bath. Norris Geyser Basin. Those are steam vents, fumaroles I think they're called, and they're the hottest of the Yellowstone's geothermal features. So the fumaroles in Norris Geyser Basin have measured up to 280 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty hot, yeah. It almost feels like we're on another planet. Like we're aliens. We just landed on planet Norris. We have an eruption.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, that's the little one.
Yeah, but that one keeps going. Oh, that was cool. Yeah. It's been going. Yeah, that's constant geyser. This area is called Porcelain Springs. This is Emerald Spring. And Steamboat Spring is down there somewhere. Geyser, the world's tallest active geyser.
Before last year, it would maybe go off once a year.
Oh, really?
And then last year was like a record number of eruptions. It wasn't doing anything when I've been here before. They're just like,
It erupts more than it used to. The weird thing is all these trees around here used to be alive and now they're dead because of the increased thermal activity around here.
Are they here today yet?
Oh.
yeah.
Every once in a while she spurts a little bit more.
I was trying to get sound where, but I was able to point out they were on their way out when the rain. Oh, I see you.
These eruptions are probably 20 feet, and the unfrequent eruptions end up being 300 feet. So every once in a while, you might see a big eruption.
Looks like they're just wearing some kind of bizarre
you got it.
Right?
400?
He sees the 400. So.
400?
Okay. I'm just gonna stay and get the major eruption here in a couple minutes and then we'll go. It's the Norris Museum. There must be something up here that people are looking at. We can't tell what it is. Evidently there's a bear with 2 cubs up here that everybody's looking at. Hopefully we can see it when we drive by.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Oh yeah, right down there. Oh, we just missed it.
Oh!
You see it?
Yeah.
It's right there.
Oh!
Big old grizzly bear. There's the 2 cubs right there.
I thought we just saying.
Let me get out.
This way.
Can I go with
What's that?
Sam? Can I go? This is Mammoth Hot Springs.
I want a pet. Hey, they're just posing. They're not even moving. It's like they're just posing.
Good morning. It is 5:38 in the morning, and we are heading from our camp up to Yellowstone. So the kids all had a great night of sleep, right? Maybe. Okay. At least their life is chipper. All right, we are headed up to Yellowstone National Park today. We're gonna see Old Faithful and some of the other sites like that. A bunch of bighorn sheep up here. They have no problems climbing up those ones. There's elk there, and bighorn sheep right here. There's a moose right there, and an elk right there. Well, we're right at the east entrance of the Yellowstone National Park now. There's still a lot of snow up here. This is from the top looking down at Yellowstone Lake. It's about 33 degrees this morning. Elliot is enjoying Yellowstone National Park. What do you think, Hannah? Alright, we're coming down close to Yellowstone Lake now, and it's still iced over. A little a buffalo. There's a couple buffalo way up on the hill there. It smells kind of sulfury. Kids having fun yet? We've had our first bear sighting.
That's a grizzly bear too.
Yep, it's a big old grizzly bear.
That's not small. It's got the hump on the back. Well, we're gonna drive right by it too. So.
I told you it was a little.
Head on with the buffalo.
Okay, we're playing chicken with the buffalo across the bridge.
Josh, stop it.
That's an old buffalo bull. His horns are all worn out. He's getting sick of all the tourists. It's just a little thermal activity going on. Alright, we're walking around by all these pools by Lake Yellowstone. Yellowstone Lake is right behind us. It is nice and warm right here. We're on this cool boardwalk that goes around by the Yellowstone Lake, and there are little geysers and little hot springs coming up everywhere. Just like this one right here. Right in front of us, it's boiling. I'll show you. So there's two of them right side by side. Just hot water boiling out. Yeah. Which one? What's this one called? Lakeshore Geysers? Alright, you can see Old Faithful right here. And it's not going to erupt for another 45 minutes or so. So we're going to hike up to a lookout point up above here. We're going to go hike up a trail to up there somewhere. Not sure where yet. Okay, observation point is where we're going to go. And it's about a half mile up, 200 feet, and an elevation rise. Just a nice little hiking trail. Alright, we're still hiking. We're almost there. It's kind of steep right in here. Old Faithful is down there. Got a lot of people down there waiting to see it. Alright, looks like it's starting to boil a little bit.
Let's go this way.
Okay, now we are hiking down this little trail to Solitary Geyser. Should be another quarter mile or so down here. Solitary Geyser. And Old Faithful is down there. Okay, we're on our way over to there. That's Castle Geyser. And this is the Firehole River, I think. It's a nice little boardwalk that lets us walk down there without being on the trail or anything. But there's a lot of people too. Castle Geyser and Old Faithful's back over there. And Castle Geyser is right there. There's a geyser erupting further behind. Old Faithful is just about to erupt. Oh, look at that! Whoa! That is so cool. Now we're inside the Old Faithful Inn. There's the main fireplace, big clock on it. This is the bottom of that big clock. I'm not sure if those weights are being used or not. There's the pendulum. So an earthquake came in 1959, measuring 7.5 on the Richter scale. It twisted some of the support timbers, so you can no longer go up to the crow's nest. Bummer. Watch an Old Faithful erupt from the Old Faithful Inn on the balcony. It's just about to go again. Oh yeah.
have here is a Yellowstone traffic jam.
Look at those bison.
So we're trying to get into Grand Prismatic Spring now, but there is no place to park, so you have to park on the road about a half mile away and walk in. Who stepped in poop? This is the Midway Geyser Basin. This is a very popular place, it looks like.
Your frontline workers are ambassadors for your business. The face-to-face impressions they make can have a long-term effect on your reputation. So it's vital that they are equipped with the tools and technology they need to be productive and motivated. But digitalizing your workforce runs much deeper than buying everyone a smartphone. There are business-critical decisions to be made regarding device deployment, usage, management, and security. And these all have an impact on the performance of both IT admins and frontline workers. Thankfully, those decisions are made much simpler with Samsung Knox. Knox Solutions covers the entire device lifecycle, from initial setup to ongoing management, remote troubleshooting, repurposing, and protection from security threats. Deployment no longer means multi-step setups of hundreds of devices leading to network congestion. Knox automates the process, either over the internet or within your intranet, with devices ready to go from the moment they're powered on. Devices in the field and OS updates can be managed with ease. IT policies can be applied intelligently, based on user environments and usage analytics data, whilst troubleshooting can be covered remotely directly from the office. The built-in flexibility of Samsung devices means they can be repurposed simply and easily. Specific tasks no longer require investment in dedicated devices or associated workflows. Remap hardware keys for specific functions, such as long pressing the volume button to put it into Microsoft Teams walkie-talkie mode, or turn the device into a barcode scanner or a mobile kiosk. And of course, out in the field, security is paramount. The government-grade Knox security platform safely protects every device and its data against malicious threats at all times. Concerned with the privacy of your employees? Work apps and information can be completely separated from personal data on the same device to ensure user privacy. Quite simply, this unique set of features can be a game changer for your IT admins, your workforce, and above all, your reputation. Putting Knox at the heart of your strategy for frontline worker digitalization says much more about your business capabilities than a friendly handshake and a smile. Learn more at samsungknox.com/frontline.
Steps from its very first early arcs to grow into one of my favorite currently running manga series.
Your frontline workers are ambassadors for your business. The face-to-face impressions they make can have a long-term effect on your reputation. So it's vital.
I have an especially great sense of pride seeing this one step into the world stage because I always knew this one was going to be a winner.
To a new way of flying, to more destinations in Mexico, to more direct flights between the United States and Mexico, to more airport lounges, to more benefits for your loyalty, where the best in us means the best for you. Welcome to the best in each of us.
There's something else that Dr. Stone does very well, and I think makes it especially noteworthy, and that's how the series manages to tackle its science infotainment better than many of the other pro-science series. They're getting lost as the big movers and shakers in terms of bringing science to the masses and encouraging more people to pursue careers in science. So stick around as we get ready to break it down Dr. Stone's science infotainment right.
Hello guys, Speeds here. Today we're doing the Decent challenge where we play blindfolded.
So for all of you not familiar, Dr. Stone is the story of how a mysterious light envelops the entire world and turns every living human on the planet into stone. Then 3,700 years pass into the future, and after being encased in stone.
Alright, put your mouse in your
Taiju
keyboard
breaks out of a stony prison to find a completely transformed
your hand on
world
your keyboard.
where
Yeah.
nature has reclaimed the
okay,
earth
level
for
up all
human
the skills.
civilization. Now the
Wait,
series
I
quickly
mean,
switches focus after the first early story arcs, getting rid of Taiju completely, because he's terrible and boring, and moving the focus squarely onto Senku, the beloved mad science genius who loves science so goddamn much he has E equals MC squared scrawled in his own blood on his leather coat. Now what makes this premise so great is that in all honesty, I don't really care about the origin of Taiju or whatever bullshit magic could be behind. Rather, what's interesting is the question of how do we build a scientific heritage from scratch without any of the tools of modern civilization. The series is at its best when Senku is building stuff and solving problems, and the dual combination of famed Korean artist Boichi's incredibly detailed art,
the minions are like
enough to
right in
create
front of you.
incredible dramatic poses,
Now
as
I'm
well as
you're
some
in
of the best facial
You're in the middle of
comedy
minions.
I've
You're in
ever
the
seen.
Left, auto attack
Along with
champions.
Ichiro Iganaki's storytelling creates an unholy feud. Making ramen or finding holes in
Okay, double yourself.
antibiotics is just as
Oh no, he's behind you, he's behind you. That's right, that's right.
of something like that.
Okay,
What I love is that this makes each new technological advancement serve as a kind of power-up that feels fresh and exciting. It also makes me interested in the world of science that most other
okay,
design for that
you're
topic
Power
usually
Rider.
utterly fails.
Double
In
yourself.
our current cultural climate, nothing has been
that was close,
emphasized
by the way.
more than the importance of STEM education. And I don't deny anyone here
you hit
watching
him.
the
R,
video
R,
is
R,
still in
R,
high school
R, up,
or
up,
just
up,
starting
walk
on
up,
college.
walk up, walk
Best
up.
advice
Oh
I
no,
can
this
give
is
you
still
is computer science or some other science field.
This
Most of the other humanity degrees that most universities try to
Don't move. Oh no, you're so dead.
diversity to try and get more POCs or people of color in the field of science.
We won.
Like money, then by all means you should go for it. There's a world of difference between eating a
You guys are too
company's
defensive, by the way.
free kitchen versus eating a honey bun out of a depressing
We hit Q,
vending
by the way,
machine
we
in
won.
the break room. I've seen and experienced
Q here.
I think one thing that a lot of the pro STEM media seems to overlook
Okay, Q,
is
get
that
last
not
one.
everyone is really
Yeah, we have the push, boys. The push is secured.
Shows like Star Trek or the recent revision of Bill Nye Science are supposed to be tools that help drive young people's interest towards loving the world of science. But here's the cold hard truth. The point is that the real science isn't fun or cool. It's long, slow, and tedious. Not everyone is wired or built to construct data tables, but there's this illusion that if you put enough pro STEM, science, and cool sci-fi fantasy programming, then suddenly all those people who are only tepidly interested in science at first will put down their smartphones and start running towards math and programming classes to soak up as much science and math as possible. But this never seems to happen, at least not on the scale people would like to believe. Sure, some people were inspired by Star Trek engineers.
Oh my god.
But for most people, a dilithium crystal is just a dilithium. Its pointless fantasy techno-babble holds as much real-world value as Harry Potter's spell moves. Despite this, there's this painful emphasis in trying to push a kind of STEM-like narrative, seen in such things like the Bill Nye Revival on Netflix, made for people like honestly, I have no idea who this is. And of course, the recent Star Trek Discovery, these efforts kind of feel a bit disingenuous, more like something like this.
Be electronics. Invest confidently with CIBC
Science.
Investor's Edge.
Yeah. Math. Yeah.
Okay, go up. Yeah, run away, disengage.
I like science.
See what I mean? To naturally get to the point science go for it. You make a lot more money than anyone pursuing the humanities or the arts. At the same time, selling a bunch of whiz-bang techno-babble fantasy schlock is going to be the key to bringing to life our next generation of scientists. Because you're not going to be stepping into a lab, then walking out with a phaser, a tricorder, or a freaking lightsaber. So let's stop kidding ourselves if this does anything to help promote that. And that's what Dr. Stone does differently. Unlike something like Star Trek where the science is merely window dressing, the science is the narrative of Dr. Stone. Everyone has the apocalyptic fantasy of having all the conveniences of modern life wiped away and starting from scratch. The question isn't how the world ends, but how is it reborn? How do you reclaim centuries of technological innovation? Hell, I'd go as far as arguing that the reason why the Walking Dead comic has endured for so long is largely because a lot of persons can't answer that question. Don't show the zombie apocalypse, but depict what does the world up after the zombie apocalypse look like. That's when the series is at its most interesting. Not when there's some new evil despot calling himself the governor, bearing down on Ripping Company, but rather when survivors are rebuilding and making a new civilization. Rebuilding from the ashes and trying their best to reclaim their lost technological heritage to create a new modern world. That's when The Walking Dead is at its most compelling. not one of soap opera with the
Invest
occasional zombie
confidently
plot.
with CIBC
And that's probably why the
Investor's
comic
Edge.
just recently ended, because in its heart of hearts, Robert Kirkman knew he only had 2 stories to tell in the Walking Dead universe, and all he could do was repeat them instead of making the intrigue with what it takes to build this story. And that's what makes Dr. Stone so compelling. Trading away the typical supernatural sci-fi superpowers, typically dominate the shonen genre, really building a pulley system or creating the electrician to become epic moments of incredible drama. Perhaps one of my favorite moments from one of the early arcs of this series sparks a light bulb for the first time in 3,700 years, bringing light to a primeval darkness that dominated the earth since the fall of man. Each new crafting adventure and discovery builds new enthusiasm, bringing simple things back like carbonated soda that feel like epic adventures of power Goku beating the next bald alien of the week. As Senju introduces more and more modern innovations into the story, he begins changing people's minds towards embracing the wonders of modern civilizations that we largely take for granted. And that's why I love this series so much. It manages to weave its whole science lectures along with its storytelling much more smoothly than most other series. And honestly, this series is always at its best when Senku and his crew have crafted some new gizmo or gadget and use the limitations of whatever natural resources they have. And for something to be so engaging, what basically amounts to going into the woods or building stuff in your garage, I think it's an incredible achievement when you can make things like this as engaging as the typical energy-laced supernatural battle typically defines shonen. Dr. Stone's worst moments are the very few scenes where it dips away from arcs focused around building and go towards the thankfully, they're relatively few and far between. I'm hoping that overall the anime series does the manga series justice. If not, I'd highly recommend you check it out in your own time. And if the anime is good, then you can follow along with me week to week. And I think this is one of the few examples of NFL science fiction done
The Dome Lens is the hottest GoPro accessory for summertime fun and excitement under the water. Actually, half under the water and half above. I've used a few different dome lenses in various situations and have recently had the opportunity to test out a new one by Telesin for my GoPro Hero 6. In this video, we're going to show you how to use it, why you would want to use it, and offer you some tips on how to get the most from your dome lens. Hi friends, welcome back to AMA TV, where I publish travel videos and talk about the tools and techniques I use to create them. I'm Alicia and this is Ella. If you're watching this video, I'd like to invite you to join my new Facebook group called Travel Film Friends, a place where we can talk about all of this stuff. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're into this sort of stuff. So, the Dome Lens is this really cool half-dome contraption that encases your GoPro and allows you to film or photograph these really cool split-level, half above water, half below water shots. I recently shot some fun Dome Lens footage during a trip to Crystal River, Florida, so if you haven't seen that, feel free to check it out. Now, if you're thinking that you could probably get the same split-level shot just with your GoPro in the water, you definitely can, but you won't get that same crisp line that the Dome Lens provides. For comparison, here I am now in my backyard pool, and I will show you what it looks like without the Dome Lens. Also, by pushing the water far enough away from the lens, it allows the underwater field of view to match the above water field of view and eliminate the magnification that you get when filming underwater. I have to show you this one to make this make sense.
Talia, I was going to say, but Lucian as well, pushing lane, you can get a lot of damage there. This is a lane matchup that we did.
Another advantage of having the dome on your lens is the general expansion of lens space. So this helps when the water droplets get stuck to the lens.
Follow through, there's the weird jump, though, gets the smash out. They've got a shot, he flashed forward, he's looking for a barbecue, but it's going to be the tree that secures first blood.
I'm in a boat and I'm cranky today because I've got a new tooth. So it can be super annoying if you end up with water droplets on the lens of your GoPro, especially if you don't realize it. And when the water droplets get on the dome lens, they tend to whisk away more easily and just generally not be as much of a problem. The expansion of lens space also gives the GoPro a 1/3 wider field of view. So I will show you the underwater difference even if you're not utilizing half of that down thing. Another advantage is since the dome lens is basically one big air bubble, it helps your GoPro to float. So when you're swimming or diving in deep open water and you drop your GoPro, it's important you have something on it that keeps it afloat, or else it will be gone. Now, this footage was shot with my previous dome lens by the brand Shoot, and it was on my GoPro Hero 4. The lens wasn't as great as my new one, it leaked a little and needed to be resealed, and it got scratched up pretty quickly. This new dome lens is by Telesin, and it seems to be a pretty awesome step up. I am enjoying it so far, the build quality is much better, and since it's on the GoPro Hero 6, the overall quality should be much better. So I like the design of this much better. The snap opening in the back is much more efficient than the other model. It also includes this trigger mechanism on the handle, and when you pull the trigger, it is just enough to push the on-off button on the GoPro, which is really cool. It includes this nice soft protector for the lens itself, which helps to prevent scratches since this is a plastic piece. These backyard pool tests will be my first test with this configuration, but stay tuned to the channel because I plan to take this thing out everywhere that I can this summer. My babysitter / pool boy has arrived. So the Telesin lens also features this tight rubber seal, which keeps all of the water out. Even if a little bit of water gets in there, it will fog up the lens. That did happen with the older Shoot model, but so far it does not happen with this one. So just to showcase the quality of both of the lenses with both of the GoPros, here is a comparison of the older picture and the newer one.
But you get into the game.
If you'd like to learn more about the differences just between the GoPro, I had the GoPro Hero 4 versus the GoPro Hero 6. I recently made a video about it, and it is full of side-by-side comparisons. And as always, I will leave an affiliate link for both of the GoPros and the dome lenses in the video description below and on the blog post at ama.tv so you can check them out. And now, a few quick tips that I've discovered for the best possible outcome while shooting with your dome lens. Number one is to shoot in the calmest water possible. That's how you're going to get that nice clean line, and also really pay attention to composing the shot, and also pay attention to what the water line is doing. The Telesin dome lens does feature a really cool water line indicator, so you can see how deep you're getting it. You can't actually visually compose in the viewfinder what the shot looks like because you can't make your eyes see half below and half above water. So it is helpful to know exactly how deep to sink it. When it comes to taking photos, and of course this goes for all photography, just take a million photos so you can eliminate and find the best one, because there are going to be some where there's water droplets, there are going to be some where the water line isn't quite right. Another trick that I use for taking photos on the GoPro is to just roll video. Especially 4K is good, and take the video and take screen grabs from the video. That way you get both video and photos. That is what I did to take these photos.
Hey guys, it's Lainey, and welcome back to my channel.
Things were a little different
Today's
then.
Sunday, and I
then
usually
just to
don't
throw it in there, one of the best reasons to upgrade to the GoPro
upload
Hero
on
6
Sundays,
and pair it
but
with the dome
I
lens
actually am
is so
starting
you can
a new
experiment
series
with
with
this
some
really
of
awesome slow motion footage that the 6 films,
friends
and
on
pairing that with the
YouTube
dome lens,
called
of course, as you can
Ask
see,
the
is lots of fun
Bakers
too.
hashtag. So what it is every month we will be answering any of your baking or cooking questions
Leave us a comment below if you have a
that
dome
you may
lens that
have,
you're
and it's
filming
going to be
with,
very
or
informal.
you're looking to get
I'm
one
going
and
to
you'd
do
like to start experimenting with it this summer. And don't
more
forget
of
to join
a
the
vlogging
Facebook
style.
group Travel Film
So
Friends. I would love
you
to
may
chat with
see
you
me in
there
the
as well
kitchen
about
or
travel
in my
filmmaking. Also be sure to subscribe to AMA TV and turn
room,
on
which we're in now,
notifications so you don't miss
bed.
anything that I will be filming this summer.
But
and also
just let me know
let me know what you'd like to see next. I will see you guys next
in the
time.
comments any questions that you may have, and me or some of my YouTube friends, I'll show them right here, may answer your question, baking question or cooking question. So my first question is, why do you use unsalted butter in your cookie recipes? That's a very good question. The reason why I use unsalted butter in my cookie recipes is because I can control how much salt to add in. Sometimes the recipe calls for a teaspoon, sometimes the recipe calls for half a teaspoon. The salted butter may have already like a tablespoon of butter, so it's always good to use unsalted butter in your cookie recipes. Or sometimes the recipe doesn't even call for salt, and what if you're using salted butter and it's too salty? So you don't want that to happen, because that's happened to me before. Most of your recipes call for lining a baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. Can I just grease this sheet instead? You can, however, you are adding a new ingredient, so it might change the outcome of the cookies or anything that you're baking. That is why it's so much easier to use parchment paper or silicone baking mat, because you are not adding anything into your recipe or into your cookies or anything that you're making. I hope that answers all of your questions that you may have had. If you have any more questions, like I said, put it in the comment section with the hashtag #AskTheBakers, and one of us will answer. And I will see you on my next upload, which is tomorrow. Bye guys!
Olivia, League of Legends highlights, powered by ArcaneBet.com.
find it. He might himself need to get out of there. He already has blown the flash from Korn. 3 flashes blown in the mid lane and a teleport, but Korn will come away with the first blood.
Great communication from Victory 5, letting Jinu know that jump right in. So the moment teleport comes through, what does SOFM do? He has to go to the left no matter what. Of course, the moment he does that, thinks that Lissandra can follow up with a flash. There's no way SOFM can try and protect again, so he has the help of his lanes. Here was the earlier play. I don't think we got to see this. Was Road getting completely caught out here by Maestro? Wow, okay.
I have 2 words, and that is time warp. As you may know, if you tune into my Insta stories, I finally got the GoPro Hero 7, and today in this video I'm going to use it. Originally I was going to make a GoPro Hero 6 versus 7 comparison, but let's face it, the 7 is better than the 6. There is no question about it. You should definitely upgrade. Video done, question answered, moving on. So then I thought I would just demo the Hyper Smooth, which is GoPro's like new major feature. In the 7, and it's awesome, but like the demos of the Hyper Smooth have already been done as well. So then after getting the camera, what I really got excited about with the new GoPro Hero 7 was this thing called Time Warp. Now some people will say, oh, Time Warp is just hyperlapse but with some stabilization added. And yeah, that's kind of what it is, but I truly think that there is like some voodoo magic or some alien DNA built into this as well that just nobody was talking about.
But he's 1v4. I don't know how much he can turn this into 2 more seconds to the empowered queue, but that is
Hi friends, I'm Alicia and this is AMA TV, where I produce travel videos and provide video production instruction to help you level up your travel vlogging skills. And this time warp on the GoPro Hero 7 is seriously an awesome thing to add to any travel video. So what a traditional time lapse is a bunch of photos taken intermittently and then played back at a fast speed, and it's cool. GoPro also offers time-lapse video, which is actual video rather than photos taken and then played back sped up. Also cool. It allows you to move through time and space at a much faster pace, so it's perfect for like a transitional moment in a travel video. But what time warp is the time-lapse video with the stabilization applied, and apparently from what I understand, the stabilization is going to go through every frame and drop certain frames and just do things to blend the frames to make it all look magical. The coolest part is that it is all created and processed in camera, so you take this time warp, and then you can watch the time warp right away in the camera, so of course you can share it directly from the camera, share it to social media, or add it to your travel vlog. And the reason the GoPro 7 can even do this magical thing is because the new one has an extra 2 gigs of memory inside of it, so it's a lot smarter than older models. So in today's video, I'm just going to go through some of my initial experiments with the time warp feature here in beautiful Florida, so you can see exactly how awesome it is.
So I get warmed up here in my backyard before moving into the neighborhood. Golden hour, awesome time to film. Of course, I'm curious how it looks to chase little Ella Bear around, but I think her motions are too all over the place to provide a great result. She does walk in a straight line down this beach trail for a short moment of success, although I end up having to do a lot of rotations and pans just to keep up with her lead. Now, as for speed on the time warp settings, GoPro does offer a few options, although I understand the best stabilization is obtained at a higher speed. It goes super high, but you'd really have to film for a long time to get anything out of this. They give you a nice little tip here to tell you exactly how long you need to film.
For those of you who have been watching, is Vladimir being a big highlight of these plays, but oh no, Victory 5.
GoPro recommends 30 times for running and mountain biking, and I figure chasing a toddler is similar.
I don't know why they came out that far out.
I wondered what it would look like with a subject as the focal point right inside of some of the motion, and while it looked cool, I realized we should have remained a bit more steady. One thing that's for sure is that these long straight lines are the most mesmerizing to follow, if you could do it without tripping over people. And finally the pier, where I am ready to consider what I've learned and do some speed tests.
Okay, that was definitely slightly awkward to film. This is about what I looked like as I was walking. Pretty slow, not crazy slow. That was at 30 times speed, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again at, I think, 60 times speed or whatever is next, and I'm going to walk twice as slow, because I believe that the more frames that it shoots, the more it has that it can drop and sort of stabilize to really get you that time warpy, super warpy, crazy voodoo effect.
Yes, 60 times, but even slower moving. It sounds so easy just to walk slow and focus, but if you're easily distracted like me, it can be quite a challenge. I thought I'd try being the subject again. It almost has this freakishly smooth stop motion effect, which I think is really cool. Again, this was at 30 times speed, and although my motions look natural, I am moving super slow, sort of like Tai Chi. Like I held that peace sign for what felt like forever. Another fun thing to try is steadily rotating around a subject, although the sands made it tough to walk steadily in this case. I think the best time warps not only follow straight lines, but have some fill-in around the sides like the trees in this forest walkway. You can see how these twists and turns feel jerky and distracting at this speed, but these long, straight parts look so sweet. I think I need to come back and do the foliage again at a slower pace. Of course, the train tracks are just perfect for this long, slow motion, but I do wish there was more going on around the sides. One final note is how much fun you can have with editing these. They're so interesting to blend together to sort of suggest that you're warping through different settings. Here, Ella goes from her own backyard up to the treetops to this magical place, and it's kind of seamless.
Heck yes, I'm loving this feature. Leave me a comment below and let me know if you think it's pure magic or if it made any sense in your brain. I just think it's magical. Also, if you'd like to look back on some previous GoPro videos here on the channel, like all the way back to last summer, I invite you to do so. I've got a comparison between 4 and 6, like I said. And then my favorite one is this one, demoing this awesome accessory called the Dome Lens. And honestly, it's my favorite one. This little Ella is just a little baby, and it's just, oh my gosh, the footage is just some of my favorite of all time ever. I think that every new mom should have a GoPro and a Dome Lens just to create this sort of footage. Also, stay tuned for next week's video because I've got a very special one planned. I'm going to share the most useful secret that I could possibly share with you about how to get tons of views on your travel videos and really ramp up your travel vlogging channel, because I know that's what a lot of you are really trying to do. So that's going to be a good one. Also, catch up with me on Instagram if you guys already aren't a part of what I do over there. I make a lot of fun stories talking about what I'm filming as I'm filming it. I even talk about these sit-down production videos as I'm filming them. So I will probably make an Instagram story as soon as I hang up the phone right here with you guys right now. So I hope to see you over there. And I think that's it. So I'm Alicia, and I will see you over there or next week or sometime somewhere. Bye!
You want to say hi to your friend? Oh my gosh, look how big she is now. Can you say GoPro?
I get her to do this stuff on Insta stories all the time. Oh, come on, say GoPro.
Peggy 18.
GoPro.
I often talk about how color grading is one of the best ways to make your footage look more cinematic, more professional, and just more interesting all around. And in this video, I'm working with a friend to demonstrate how to color grade videos completely on your iPhone using LUT, which are essentially video color grading presets. That means you can not only edit your entire video, but you can add a cinematic color grade without even touching the computer. And I'm offering a free download of one of my favorite LUTs that I created to help you get started.
There's much more at stake than his own personal goals. The only person that
Hi
he
friends,
really
I'm Alicia,
has a
this is
relationship with
AMATV,
is
where I help you
Elise.
level up
Arno
your
and Elise grow
travel
up
vlogging
together,
skills.
and
color grading
they're
is
always quite
definitely
close.
one of those
They're
skills. In fact, it's
sort
an
of young
entire
troublemakers
subtopic
together.
of video editing, which can be quite complex to learn, especially in the beginning. That's why experimenting with video LUTs is a smart choice for a beginner looking to level up the look of their footage fast. When I first released my custom LUT packs for sale, I had a lot of questions about whether they work with various types of software outside of like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere. So not everybody is ready to jump into these pro level editing suites, and a lot of people still wanted to use LUT to get that awesome look without having to work through extensive color grading practices on each clip. So I started gathering information and compiling a list of the lesser-known editing suites that will accept .q files, which is what a LUT is, and allow you to apply it to your footage. And so far, the list looks a little bit like this. Then recently, one of my awesome fans DM'd me on Instagram, excited to tell me that he was able to download and use my LUTs in his app that he was using to edit his videos. So it's a $30 app called LumaFusion, and it's supposed to be the best way to edit videos on an iPhone or iPad. I was excited to hear this because I had previously figured that apps used for editing on phone were always going to be less than professional and have far fewer features than what you would find on real software on a computer. But guess what? It is almost 2020 and iPhone apps are apparently amazing. So I figured this could be a game changer for so many of you who are not using computers
Napoleon
loaded up with
Bonaparte.
pro editing
I love the way
software,
that the
but
writers
still
of
wanted to use
ACU have
LUTs.
created the character.
But I wanted a
through
real
the dialogue.
LumaFusion
He's very
user to be able to
intelligent,
demonstrate
and he uses
this
that
process
command of the
fully
language
to you.
to
So allow me to
influence
introduce
people and to get what he
Beto
wants.
Vitanzo.
That was a
He
lot
is
of
a
fun
New
for me
Yorker
to
who
play
creates fun family
Napoleon's
vlogs
probably
in
one
both
of the few
English
people
and
that aren't off
Spanish.
field.
But he's not
This
your
guy
regular
knows what's
family
going on.
guy.
He's
He also
clearly
reviews cool
smart
camera
guy,
gear,
strong
including
leader,
the Insta
great tactician.
361X, a
My name
camera
is Bruce
that I do have
Dinsmore,
my
and
eye
I
on.
play
And
Maximilian
his channel is
Obstia.
linked below
He's a
if
bit of
you'd
a
like to
pedant,
learn
he's a
more
bit of
about
a
his
show-off,
work.
a bit
And today,
pretentious.
Beto will
Arno
demonstrate the
is
step-by-step
aware of what
process
Robespierre
he used to
is
download my
capable
free
of.
LUT,
And
unzip
he's
the
a
file,
madman.
save it to the correct
As
folder,
far as Arno
install
can
it
tell,
in
this guy
LumaFusion,
is
apply it to
nuts.
the footage,
And
and
he's
most
leading
importantly, adjust the
France into
opacity
ruin.
to make it
I
look
don't
great,
think he was
to give you
drunk
just
on
that
power,
perfect
but
blend of
he was
color
drunk on
grade.
something.
So you can follow along in the demo to download the free LUT inside the video he mentioned, or go ahead and grab it links below in this video.
I've brought my
And
own
if
thing
you're
to the
hooked and
table,
want more
and
options and looks for
hopefully
different
I
color
haven't
grades, I
disappointed
do
the
have
fans
all of my
because
custom LUT packs
if I have, they're
available
gonna
for
kill me.
purchase at ama.tv/shop. And now, let the demo begin. You guys can ask me questions in the comments below.
Hello everybody. Well, in this video I'm going to show you how easy, how fast, and most important, how useful it is to work with LUTs on your footage. In this video we want to work
Peggy
with
16.
Let's begin.
Okay guys, before we even
Dobbiamo andare!
Avanti!
we have to get a lot from Alex. So what will you do?
Il testimone ha portato l'oscurità nel viaggiatore.
That's Alice channel.
Tutto ciò che conosciamo
What you say?
finirà
The
col
second video that
soccombere.
says how to edit a cinematic video intro. Click on description. In description you're gonna find a free music track. But what we need right now is the free custom LUT called Ruby. Open. So here, just put your info here, put your name, put your email, then click send me the LUT. What's your email? Your inbox is right here. Says here is the free download.
Qualcosa è cambiato nel guardiano. Il nuovo potere, lo sento.
Now just click the button right here. Press the click and leave it press. 2 seconds. I'm going to show you the down here. You have to click the last option. Uncompressed. And that you open. These two files you want to open. This one right here. First this group. And that says
Prendi questo potere, guardiano. Abbi coraggio nei luoghi oscuri, poiché noi siamo luce di speranza. that says color and presets. Then the second icon says LUTs, user LUTs. So click the download LUT and then go to your files. It's right here, the one that says Ruby. Click on that and it's gonna download. You see, easy, right there, right here.
Onivia, League of Legends highlights.
Playing around with it before you apply to
而且
your
对于万
footage.
豪来说，确实是加强太大了，因为它本来就是一个比较。
The level that you can adjust very easily. Then you can just click this icon in order to see if it's like working or not. Then just click view. You see? That's the difference right there.
比较笨的一个。
是的。
猫咪所向，欧菲留斯配猫咪确实是一个没有那么杀了一套之后打的也不是特别疼。
吉考换一个传送，对于我来说还是很赚的。
而且主要是标记不敢反打，一线太多了，对吗？是。哎，上路对拼一套，这边直接一个一技能刮死林，是有红怒的。听看这一波对拼是有。
So that's it, guys. Very easy to download, very easy to use.
看能不能保住铁男。铁男这波很关键，如果这波阵亡的话，很有可能就直接这场就没了，直接爆下没收到这个人头。这铁男火龙飞直接拿下。这铁男这个英雄虽然说打鳄鱼打个大鳄瑶自己有点怕，但是欺负个 ADC 还不如先掉了一个一血塔。
Yay! Thank you, Beto. I know that he and I both hope that you're able to follow along and get the same results as Luna Fusion and MATV Blood or any Blood from other sources as well. So leave me a comment below if you have any questions. Let me know how this worked out for you. I'd also love to know what type of tutorial or review video you would like to see next. I've got some awesome content planned for the end of 2019, but you know 2020 is wide open. So let me know what you guys would like to see. And if you're not yet a subscriber and you enjoy this video, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can be the first to be notified about new videos about videography and vlogging and editing and color grading and all this fun stuff that we do. Alright guys, I'm Alicia, and I'll see you
表
next
面上
week.
看着扯开腰间链子是蛮帅的，但实际上没有什么意义。不过这波鳄鱼还没来，这个龙标就可能能收下。
It's made out of solid metal, and it only costs $30. I mean, come on, right?
中路已经没东西了，这个时候上高的话，可能对于 BLG 来说是他们很愿意见到的事情。
感觉还有机会可以撞头二。
应该是有的。这边是一个猫巨魔，
已经开始在野地排视
还有个妖姬。
实
践能力也不强，因为毕竟正面威武是4个人，鳄鱼也是马上可以瞬间到位的。
我这一标标到猫咪。
But today I am taking a look at the turtle
下大招一刮，要下到一个半血，这个塔应该守掉了。闪现捏回来，这大了回来。这波血量下的很低，赶紧叫两个 W， 这 W 回到4个 W， 回到了自己的高地塔之内。这关关的是谁？关的是 Zen， 关的是一个 EZ。EZ 这里躲在 Q 技能，但是要被被动给烫死的，吃到了一个终结的人头。回头还要继续打，这一波感觉铁男的作战能力还不错啊，但是自己还是多一死就不会死。鳄鱼收下这个人头，鳄鱼天神下凡，现在就往一个战神，没有一个人可以打得动他。
这边烽火这边还到，
鳄鱼进场伤害太高了，然后他虽然交了双但
没有什么办法。然后 Kingen 也是出来之后，
自己如果再这样打了，就自己如果去打大龙的话，可能给机会，因为这个阵容打大龙不是特别快。哎，大招带一下看回官职，这边 FOFO 的位置回到了塔下，而小东北这应该是走掉了，他有点上头。带妖姬肯定不是个明智的选择，特别是妖姬 W 过来，末日一下到一个半血的，感觉这龙应该要直接 run 完了，因为小东北在上面可以直接把打野给带走。
对。
首先上来直接带看回官职拉下。 上手链如掉2个人，还获得一个 W， 再个1上直接把妖姬给秒掉了，大龙也顺势拿了下来。后面 TP 下来提着铁男，但铁男下来，关了一个谁？关了一个小东北。啊，关了一个小东北，这
他关了一个小东北，但是了一下在外面的人，
真的能杀掉吗？
感觉可以杀，
杀掉了，但是自己应该也走不掉了。这波就下来硬换一个小东北。
这条后龙拿下来，现在。 风龙头这边也是有改动的嘛，
回到了 S3、S4那个时期的暴雨，一标直接人没了。威斯的血量下的也很残，而FOFO的血量也很残，这一波不是特别好守了。BLG 如果再守，很有可能要出事。这个位置开到这个巨魔，又一个 E 技能，哎，要拉，我这个旭日红拳轰的也还不错，小东北位置有点危险，接了一个灯笼回来，但是自己还是被妖姬给收掉。后面作战能力依然非常强的一个技能收掉又被刘思的人头，BLG最强的一个作战能力没有了，这边拉。 这个关小黑屋，关的是一个鳄鱼，但真的打得过吗？回头一个 W， 又一个 Q 技能。这边 biu biu 是收掉了 Kingen 人头，关小黑屋，但是没你好果子吃。
鳄鱼这波直接 B 准备 TP 过来，这边一波勾到了妖姬，反身100，
没有死，还是最后一下一把平 A 就可以，但回到了泉水之内，2个人都回下血，分身也回下血。第2个门牙也应声倒地，威武应该是要结束这场比赛，拿到自己的第3胜了，又一勾到了 FOFO 猫咪。 这边猫咪这么可爱就不杀它了吧？啊，猫咪这么可爱还是没有选择杀猫咪。那我们还是恭喜威武获得这场比赛胜利，同时拿到自己的第3胜。
是的，恭喜威武。
guys, now we're going to test the superhuman here. We've got a good baseline. Let's start with the gunshots boost. So if you're wanting to focus on gunshots, this is going to be the setting you're probably interested in. Alright guys, final test. Now with these footsteps, don't just pay attention to footsteps. There's also the fire there, and I noticed that even noises like that fire crackling seem to be a little more pronounced with this superhuman hearing setting.
Good morning everyone from the gaming office in Berlin. We have the Instagram challenge of 460 sit-ups, 480 push-ups and 4,860 seconds of plank. There's the first volunteer right now. We start with the push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a wrong people to do that. We're both too old and no food to do that now. Something or what it is. I'm definitely obviously explain also if some people want to do one. I could see a world where we have to ask them today if they want to support us in some of them really.
Morning guys, so importantly you push-ups, be in straight line. So straight line from the shoulders to the heels, squeeze your butt and the elbows.
Okay guys, so this is
above
Dark
the hands.
Deciders Genesis. I was actually really looking forward to this game. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to play, and I've gotten to get a little bit of time into it, and yes, it is a lot of fun. But it's also a great opportunity to test out one more feature of this headset, and that is game dialogue level. Game dialogue level will let you kind of boost the voices in your game so you can hear more clearly. So let's check out how this guy works out.
Samael's fortress is under attack. Kels could have mentioned that. His enemies are many, but few could muster the forces to attack him directly. Well, guess it's not going to be an in-and-out conversation then.
Okay, so that was just our
Good job,
plain
guys.
old normal game volume. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our game dialogue level on, but I'm going to put the level all the way down. This is going to help us get a really good comparison point before we turn it all the way up and kind of see what this thing is going to do.
0, 115.
Not likely. One thing for sure, we aren't using the front door. Let's get closer and see what we find.
Okay, so as you can probably notice, that volume, for the voices dropped a little bit. Now, this is actually a great spot because as soon as you start going in and get some more dialogue, this will also give me a chance to do some of the guns and shooting while the talking's going on. So we're going to go ahead now and see what the dialogue level sounds like when it's all the way up.
Looks like the battle's been going on for a while. The front walls still hold. Samael's forces will be drawn there, weakening his defenses elsewhere. Wait, are you suggesting we sneak in? Good call, but that doesn't sound like it's strategic. Right.
Okay, so as you can see, the voice dialogue there was quite a bit better for being able to hear. There's one more feature I just want to point out. Hey, this is something you guys won't be able to hear a difference on coming from YouTube and a shotgun mic, but I still want to point it out. So the 3D audio actually has three different settings. They have game, which really makes the most sense for, well, okay, it might even make that baby crying in the game sound super realistic to you. Okay, no, that's just my baby. But anyway, it has game, movie, and music. Now, typically though, still I prefer game overall. But when you go to music with 3D audio, it makes music sound great, and that's new for me. That is a first. I've never had a gaming headset that sounds great with gaming, that you can just change one little setting, have a separation that is really good, and make music sound good. But even in a game like this, there's such a great soundtrack on it that even music sounds great.
Over our play style and stuff like this, so that's mainly what we've been doing. Well, it's my fourth build that we've seen so far. I think this one's probably going to hopefully be our best one. I think the preparation was pretty good. The preseason was decent. But yeah, I think we have a lot more room to
So yeah, guys,
growth. I think
get off of that screen there real quick.
Really well.
I don't want to make you try to listen to this, but I'm just saying Darksiders Genesis, it's a fun game. It has an awesome soundtrack, and this Turtle Beach headset is the way to go for gaming. Let's go ahead and wrap up this review. In the end, the hugest victory for the Elite Atlas Arrow is the fact that I normally review features, but that doesn't always mean I use them. But with this headset, I am using these features on a regular basis, like anymore now. And I've only been working on this thing for a few weeks now, but anytime now that I'm jumping on my PC, I am bringing up the Turtle Beach software so I can adjust the audio quality to what I am doing at the moment. 3D audio is really awesome on this headset, and the thing I love the most about it is the fact that it sounds great with music. Their music setting works awesome, and in fact, it's probably one of the biggest things I've noticed is that this headset, one of the things that's really hard to get, unless you spend literally thousands of dollars, is separation. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to get thousands of dollars worth of separation quality on this, but I am going to say that because of that little trick with their 3D audio in the software, this is the best separation I think you are ever going to hear at this budget. The gaming features are actually incredibly useful. Things like being able to adjust volume to chat programs versus the actual game volume. For me, that's huge because now I don't have to try to tweak my master volume in every game title I go in. I can just go and adjust it till it's just right. And especially for those of you who like to play competitive gaming, you can get just the right amount of audio so you can still hear your team members but not miss what's happening in the game. Superhuman hearing worked excellent. I can see that being useful. Probably wouldn't be your normal gaming routine, but if you're doing something competitive, especially in first-person shooter, you might find that incredibly valuable. At $150, this headset is a little steeper than just your average ones, but let's face it, guys, $150 is still not a bad price. I mean, some of the higher-end headsets that have the crazy, audio quality reputation, they're starting at like $250 for some of their baseline stuff. So the fact that Turtle Beach is at this level and sounds as great as it does, I mean, I love this headset. It is the audio quality I've been looking for, and I'm really enjoying what this company's doing. But having gaming features that are just, in my opinion, practical, things you will use every day, guys, this is the best headset, I believe, for gaming you can possibly get at $150. And I don't know all of them, but right now I'm going to be hard-pressed to think of anything that's going to compete. Because at least with my experience, I haven't seen things that have quite as good a software and things that have quite as easy of an experience to access. Now, guys, you can probably find software that will do some of this stuff at the third-party level, but the simple fact is that makes things a lot more complicated. Turtle Beach made it easy. So So that's what I got for you guys. Highly recommend it. If you're looking for a Christmas gift idea and you know somebody has a crappy headset and this is in their budget or your budget for them or however that's going to work, yeah, pick this guy up. I do not believe for 1 second you will be disappointed. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. I hope this review helps you out. Like I said, don't expect these audio settings to be what I'm actually hearing, but I hope it gives you a little bit of a taste and tries to help kind of exemplify some of those settings for you. Make it a little easier, make your decisions a little easier. This has been the Hardware Hound. Catch you later.
Is it okay to cut the grounding off a wire? Never cut the grounding. What other side effects? There we go.
I don't say burger that much anymore.
Okay, so basically I just put this TV up here, and then I have this HDMI cord coming through here, and I have a camera out there, so that I can like see on this TV what the camera sees out there. So I like have a secret spy camera outside my room in case, you know, anyone tries to come in my room or something. I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of mess around with. But the TV's wire has a ground pin, which basically, from what I understand, it's like if an electrical shock goes through your house, the electricity will go back out of this pin, so your TV doesn't like the inverter in your TV or whatever doesn't just explode or go out or whatever. And then the extension wire I have doesn't have a slot for the ground pin. I just want to cut this ground pin off. But they also make these things, which are basically just like things that only have the 2 prongs, and then they allow you to stick something with the ground pin in it, which I guess is what I need. I know my dad has a ton of those, but that means that I now have to wait until my dad gets home to get one, so I can't set it up now. Got a ground outlet converter thingy. Yeah, that thing's plugged in. Now we just gotta get this HDMI cord plugged into the TV, and then the other end plugged into the camera, and then turn the TV on, then turn the camera on, and then it'll work.
I'm very impressed with them so far in this game. Of course,
this camera goes
it's
out in the
only
hall.
against XL, who have really struggled, and the cat gets the first kill of the game. Showstopper used him in the mid lane, but Humanoid is so tanky. With his Seraphs, with his Banshees, eventually he falls.
Ends up being a 1-for-1
overall. Both mid laners go down. All of their summoners have been used.
Just looks like I'm spying on my parents' bedroom. No, that's really creepy. I think I need to like turn it down so that it like is pointing towards the ground more.
But they are back to life today with a convincing win.
Better, but I still quite can't see just like my door. I can see people coming up the stairs probably. Let's see. Dad, come here real quick. I want to show you something.
The only constant is change, so we have to adapt, guys.
It worked.
No matter how it's going.
Hey, look at that screen.
It's a lot of fights. We have to adapt. We have to be on the same page. That's all right now. Let's enjoy it. 45 minutes of work. Then tomorrow's off. You enjoy the off day.
No.
You deserve it. But now
I have another camera.
We trust in you. What makes us really happy. After yesterday,
look, watch that TV.
We talked like champions. What's next? What can we do for tomorrow? And that seems to be positive for the future. Okay. So
Dad told me
now.
I can't keep it up there,
All
though.
on the same page, and we can do it. Okay.
But I think it's cool.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Nemesis is in the such a good position. They don't know he's there. Look at it, he's already got the ball onto Patrick, and now the shotgun on Patrick flashes away from it, and they're going to try and turn onto Nemesis with the flank comes.
Holding the iPhone 11 in hand, very solid feeling phone. Okay, really good, bright screen. It retails for around $22,000 here in the US. iPhone 11 Pro with the OLED big $1,000. Really nice screen. Very bright. OLED. I was saying it's the screen on the iPhone 11 Pro Max is very OLED, and on the iPhone right here. It is very retina-y. Very nice, very nice. Back of the iPhone 11. Pretty clean and crisp lines on this yellow model right here. Looking at the Pro Max, I don't like it as much. It's kinda matte. It's not very shiny. I don't like it.
There are, of course, rules for this, so let's bring them up on the board.
In honor of
Number one, each group can contain a maximum of 1 team.
CPU coolers, I decided to wear my brown shirt. Hey guys, Hardware Hound here, and today we get to look at CPU coolers from Noctua. Now, I don't really anticipate that I'm going to say anything that other people haven't said already, but I was wanting to answer two very important questions in my testing. Now, the number one issue that I've always had about air cooling is I really couldn't believe that air cooling could match or even beat liquid cooling. I figured even a dual tower like the D15 might be able to match, say, a 240mm liquid cooler, but I was thinking once you get 280mm or 360s,
A bit less than half
that
health with Physique 4
there's just no way.
Fabian on the
Water
IQ has gotten
cooling is
information from
gonna
below. A
beat
shot from
these
Mibi. What
but
a
I
headshot.
really
Taking
just
down a
needed
goal
to
from
know
Mibi.
for
That's two on the
myself.
ground at Penta
Now,
Sports.
I'm
Only
working
one
on,
left
I'm
alive.
currently
Stizzy will
working on
finish them off.
rebuilding the
IDK
CPU cooler
Tiger
charge. I'm going to be
4-4.
using
Why you got a time for
3600
making a play?
and kind of pushing some new limits and doing some minor changes to the
Stop
way
the
I
game
did that
right
charge
there.
before.
What is that? Mibi.
So, before I came to this level, though, the all-time best liquid cooler I had still was the NZXT Kraken X62. Doesn't matter, even my 360mm units that I've tested could not beat the Kraken X62 at full blast. I don't know why, but whatever NZXT did with that particular design, it was magic. So putting the D15 neck and neck to that cooler, it surprised me. Now, granted, at full blast, this cooler couldn't quite edge out the X62. But once I did the silent noise level, I had to crank down those fans a lot on the Kraken X62 in order to match that. This guy takes the lead when it comes to cooling. And he also does weird things. So when I do my Cinebench testing, which is something new that I'm adding to my CPU cooler charts, because of AMD's auto overclocking features that just basically increase base clock speed based off of cooling, I was like, alright, let's see if there's any performance differences. Even though the Kraken X62 technically pulls a slightly better temperature, Cinebench gave the D15 the best score. Now, I'm not sure how consistent that's going to be. I need to keep testing that. But it's possible that because we're dealing
will go
with
down a
heat pipes
beautiful
and
throw
phase
here
change
from
coolings
Lackey.
and tons of
Dude,
copper
gotta check
metal
that
that
though.
helps transfer that
make it a
heat more
3v2. Is it
consistently
holding
than
the
even liquid does,
hallway
then
of
that's
death, as
why
you mentioned.
air cooler
Lackey
can
through the
give
flash.
us
He'll
a
get one. He'll get two.
score.
Lackey, are you
So
kidding
overall,
me?
guys, obviously
3-1
we're
right
talking
now.
about an amazing
He's
looking
even
design.
taking the lead
All black
against
on the
NIP
tower with the
on
black fans.
two down
It's
for
great.
him.
And
Julia
if you
with
want
2
a
kills
splash
though,
of
getting
color,
1
like
and
what
10.
I've got going on here, you can throw on the Pro Max
Playing the shotgun to his
accessories,
advantage. How does he get that kill?
anti-vibration pads, and make it look a little different. The only real complaint I had was there was this little white lettering stamp, and particularly the D15, you can't really rotate those fans to hide that, otherwise your cable's going to be in the wrong spot. So I either would like to see Noctua put that lettering somewhere where it's more visible, or, just maybe flat out put it on the back of the fan or somewhere, so that we don't have that. Those white letters definitely stand out when this guy is installed. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I just took a little bit of cleaner, I could get that scraped right off.
Attends, parce qu'il serait pas l'heure d'envoyer
something
peut-être des
soft enough,
flashs qui
maybe
scorent
like
dessus.
Mr. Clean that makes it
question is what would Noctua Chromax Black look like with RGB? And quite frankly, guys,
It's
the
weird
answer
because I
is
heard somewhere that Leon Kids is not so great, but I'm not sure that I
Are you
believe it.
kidding me? The solid black tower, the cooling performance, and with just a splash of RGB with the Enermax Square GB
Does have
fans,
the Leon with a
I
quick peek.
thought that looked
Does a bit of damage to
excellent.
Fabian. No
If
grenade's
not
gonna get
too
thrown
much
in.
to do
Oh, they throw it right onto
I
the
don't
Diego.
feel like
And
they
Leon
should
will
go
connect.
extreme.
That's
And
one
why I
taken
picked
away.
the fan that I did
Lems with one
on
more
the
grenades being thrown into the
NHG
IGL of the team.
is
Will
because
get
that
thrown
ring
out the window as
adds just a
Leon
little
comes
bit
in
of
and
that
finishes him
splash
off.
of RGB color, but it's not completely like the whole fan lit up looking bright and glowing. I feel like if Noctua was to do RGB, doing a small ring like that would be perfect to complement especially Zall Black without feeling like they're losing a professional.
He spots the second, that's the Echo auto play. The last is playing
Now,
back of the site.
here's what I think Noctua should really do.
Allow IDK to take
Noctua
control
likes
off floor.
quality
Leon gets
and
a
bringing
shot
us
off
something
of it.
unique and
Well, I
excellent
tell you what, this is
for
one
a
map I
PC
wouldn't want to
build,
take them to on
not
purpose
just
because I never
following
killed from
the
above
trends.
to get set down. And IDK
Could the
will get one more.
company
Leon
give
going
us
ham and a headshot. Zephyr will have to drop
RGB
off the edge and
lighting
test
option.
ASAP
So that
into the
we
tellers.
could have this fan
That
plug
castle
in,
barricade
it
will
would
play
use power
against him.
off
I'll
of
have to
the
move him.
typical normal fan header. But
office.
maybe
Might have to
Noctua
stick
could
to the
design
future.
an
He's a bit
RGB
off, so the
scheme
angle might go
where
the way
it
of
would
Leon.
connect
They'll
via
push in. They
sync
have
to
the info,
YouTube
and the
that
headshot
would
from Leon
sync
cleans
all
up
the
Zephyr.
RGB lighting in a
That's
case.
at least a 4K
And
for
no
Leon
extra
and around.
wires as a result. Now, if Noctua was to do that, that would be a way to do RGB lighting and completely take the market to the next level and say, hey, we're the top kings of CPU coolers. Even when we do RGB lighting, we do it right. Noctua, you gonna accept that challenge? I hope you do. Anyway, guys, so that's all I've got. I've got a full written detailed review for both the NHD 15 and the NHU 12
Hi, I'm Natalie.
in the description below on my website, itchubbyhound.com.
face.
Check that out in the description below. That way you can see the full
We're gonna take you
testing,
guys
the
on a little
install,
adventure because
all
we know
that
you
fun
guys
stuff.
have lots of questions
As
about
far
the
as the
game.
video is
and we wanna
concerned,
find some answers.
I really
We're gonna
just
go talk
wanted
to
to see what
Tanya now.
Noctua would look like with RGB done, at least in my opinion, done right. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know if you guys think Noctua and RGB would be great for some of you. Hey, I know some of you wouldn't like that, but for those of you who don't like it, well, you already got all the Noctua that you need because you've got plenty of non-RGB Noctua, plenty out there to buy.
Well, a few
But
years
for
ago,
those of
we
us who
realized
love
we had something
RGB,
really special with
I would love to
we
see
decided
something
then that we
coming
wanted
from
to have
the
more of a
company
direct
that was
connection to
also
our
very
players and to the
professionally
community,
done,
and that we wanted to be
would
more of
fix
an
the
instant
big,
studio.
huge
So we've been
wire
spending the
clutter
past few
problem
years
we're
to
having
build
right
all the
now
infrastructure
with all these
and
RGB accessories.
everything that we need.
All right, guys.
So that we can
Let me know in those comments,
distribute and talk to our
because, hey,
fans
maybe
and
not too
website,
pay
all the good
attention to
stuff,
that too,
right?
and maybe us
And so now we're finally in a place where we've got like the starting point of that stuff, and we
Hope
can
you guys
start hopefully
appreciate
getting people.
the effort and, you know,
Well,
whatever I'm
Fortnite
trying
is
to
an
do here.
action
Hey,
building
I'll keep
game.
bringing them to you.
You go into
I'll
the
catch you
world,
later.
and it's not just about building, but it's about fighting the enemies, and it's building up fortifications.
Hey everyone,
and,
TechLife
using
here, and
those to
today
defend
I'm
against
going to
the
be
enemies as
unboxing
well.
the Stream
And
Deck
so
Mini
it's a
from
lot of different things
Elgato.
kind of all mashed together
Taking
to
a
make
quick
this,
look at the
like,
box here, you can
really
see some of the
amazing
features.
game.
You can pause the video to take a closer look if you like, but I won't go into any details.
Matthew Russell
It's on
in the
offer right now
hallway.
for £80 on Amazon.
What is
If you'd like
Fortnite?
to
What
check
is
it out
Fortnite
and
to
help the
you?
channel
What
as
is
well,
Fortnite as
then
a
I'll leave an
game?
affiliate
So
link in the
play Fortnite to
description.
me is like when
With
I was
that
a
being
kid and I
said,
would do
let's
Fortnite
get on
with
with the
my friends.
unboxing.
It's basically all the
Finally getting it
possibilities,
open.
right? Like it's all
You
the
can see the
fun.
device
I
itself
mean, my friends
and
live
some
all over the
manuals.
place now. They live all over the
Getting
country.
the manuals to the
Any
side,
game
I'll
that we
quickly get the device out
to
and we'll
be
take a closer
together,
look.
you know, and play is awesome. Man, everybody has the opportunity to have that kind of
The cable
badass
is nice and long,
right?
but it's
Regardless of
sadly
what
not
your playstyle
detachable,
is.
so
You're
be
a ninja.
careful if you have
You're in the
pets.
game. Show us a ninja move.
The base is also rubberized to ensure that it doesn't move around on the desk, and now I'll just peel off the protective cover. Moving over to the front, there are 6 buttons with screens behind them, meaning you can display the function of the button itself or whatever you want on it.
That was
So far, I've made lots of profiles and it's been really useful not only while streaming and making videos, but in my day-to-day computer usage too.
Fortnite to me is
A full, in-depth review of this will be coming out soon, so make sure to look out for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. if you did, it would really help the channel out if you liked and subscribed. With that being said, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
You know, if you want to just do some minor combat, you can do that. If you want to just build cool bases, you can do that. So for me, it's kind of this all
one of the people that I was hoping to talk to, but
Yeah.
it's been kind of hard to track him down.
That's the running gag that we have on the team. It's like you can never find Darren. He's always in meetings or running around trying to design the game with the other designers.
We're gonna try to go to his office. Where's his office at? So we're at Darren's desk.
I see evidence of life.
When's the last time you saw him?
You really have to camp the spawn point. You gotta come
Hey
at him.
everyone, TechLife here, and today I'm going to be unboxing the Stream Deck Mini from Elgato.
cookie,
Taking a quick look at the box here, you can see some of the features. You can pause the video to take a closer look if you like, but I won't go into any details.
He wouldn't come to our
It's on offer right now for £80 on Amazon, so if you'd like to check it out and help the channel as well, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description. With that being said, let's get on with the unboxing. After finally getting it open, you can see the device itself and some manuals.
So we just got done
Putting the manuals to the side, I'll quickly get the device out and we'll
In
take
our
a
next
closer
video, we're
look.
going to take you behind the scenes of online test 1 of the Fortnite Alpha.
The cable is nice and long, but it is sadly not detachable, so be careful if you have pets. The base is also rubberized to ensure that it doesn't move around on the desk, and now I'll just peel off the protective cover. Moving over to the front, there are 6 buttons with screens behind them, meaning you can display the function of the button itself or whatever you want on it. So far, I've made lots of profiles and it's been really useful not only while streaming and making videos, but in my day-to-day computer usage too. A full, in-depth review of this will be coming out soon, so make sure to look out for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would really help the channel out if you liked and subscribed. With that being said, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
稼ぎ時ね。そんなに想像以上逃げようったって無駄よ。ウサギは草食だけど、私を呼んだのに。行動開始。爪を研ぎに来たぞ。逃げるな。頑張ります。秩序を乱すべからず。勝利の譲渡だし、トーランはこれに次ぐ。おい、私を見すぎるな。集中が上がってきな。次のとこにぶち込んでやる。
了解。厳しめに行こう。カイト、大事な工事現場だ。会社立ち入り禁止。了解。厳しめに行こう。
いつも通りやったまでだ。
工事開始だ。はいよっと。回れ回れ回れ。
三角はここだよ。ダブルアックス。
どこへ逃げるつもりです。あなたの心に噛みつくかもしれませんよ。どこへ逃げるつもりです。単なり。
If you reckon dropping them from up there, what? Both at the same time, they've got to be exactly the same height. And then you see how they hit the floor.
For the Bard ultimate to kick
Okay,
this off as
so
Nocturne
we will
presses
try.
Zonas on the flank, he's been spotted. Temper Fade onto 2, they've locked in place the Toxer
we'll
off.
try
The
this
Everfrost
one,
is there to
but
stream
we'll
the shot,
try
will knock them back with the divide and conquer attack.
So we'll try this
Kenko
one.
still
see
looking
what
at the Dragon. The Dragon has been
and
held
then
in
we'll try
suspension. Out
other
comes the
things,
Curtain Call, looking for those picks. 1, 2, 3, crit chance.
Yeah.
The final
Okay,
shot
you
is
ready to
there.
drop her?
And a flash away from Graves
Right,
where
get
you
them
go
both
in.
out, get
It's
in the
not
window,
enough.
and
And
keep
it
them at
is
the same height. Bring them out a
I
little
love
bit.
Timo, he's very cute, so I
when
thought it
on
was time
three,
to pull it
drop
out on
her.
the big stage.
So he's one of those individuals that likes to push the barrier of
three.
Zonas has just got, oh my god, okay.
He's certainly going to go from bad to worse. Zonas is 6 now. Careful,
He's going all in, but he's going to be careful. He's going to get put to sleep. He goes mega. There's a little bit of extra HP, but the one-up's already been used, I believe. So he just literally gets burned off down.
Welcome to the
Elcio as a player, Poltron.
I'm in the game now. It's up to me to make the correct call.
Good dodge. He's looking for the repeat. The Predators pop this on the Lungo. Will come on down. And Poltron is bottom. He's looking for it. The Graviton's going to go out. That's a nice jump in. Still past Presence. Where you going? Never really get risk of dying. Trying to force it out. Oh, it's a great trap. That's a beautiful trap. It just splits apart the bot lane of Kanga. And then it just runs them down. Forward and look to lay down the damage. On the flank. And another turret. CMN looking for Gun Crab. He's just gone. He's going to dive to Ignite. Dash across the wall. He can. CMN, even though he's got literally 10% HP, it's still going to press on forward.
Free fire. Give me that.
Okay.
Ready to go into today's game? Look at me, man.